welcome, bro.
Welcome. Thank you.
So for anyone watching and listening, we've been talking for like 10 minutes and 20 minutes. Okay. With
God,
technical
already? Yeah.
difficulty, I know, 20 already, bro. Um, Technical difficulties, we're good now, and yeah, so good to go. So anyway, you and I, let me say what I said earlier, since now
Go
we're
back. Go
good to
back through
go.
it all.
Right. You and I met at Iron Dagger 2 here at GTI in South Carolina, or here in South Carolina, and just a few months ago. And you are the first one that I met in person first before I met online and had on the podcast. So, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you're up in Ohio. I'm in South Carolina. And now, what part of Ohio are you in?
Medina. So like,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
yeah, like just south of Cleveland a little bit.
Yep.
MK Airsoft is my local field. If there's any airsoft people from Ohio who are listening right now, you can see
Okay.
me out there fairly often, especially during the winter.
MK, I think that's the one that Brandon is going to or has gone to for skirmish. You know the skirmish system.
Uh,
You know these bracelets,
no, I haven't seen those
tap
yet.
and go. Okay, so I think he said he was meeting with somebody in Ohio for at one of the fields out there. It might have been that one. Do you guys?
It
Is that
might be. It might be if he's meeting up with Gabe. Gabe Schuster.
okay?
He's been Master Key Airsoft or whatever for a long time and whatnot. He had the Airsoft Team SRT. So he's the one
Oh
who
shit.
started. Yeah, he's the one who started MK Airsoft up here, and then they just opened another field all the way down towards like the Dayton area and Middletown. So there's another one down there as well now.
Okay. Now the one you're at, MK, does that have indoor and outdoor?
Just indoor.
Oh, it's indoor. Yeah. So is it
Yeah.
like they do like speed soft stuff and
No, like
CQB?
yeah, but like no dedicated like speed soft like area where it's like the individual bunkers on each side or whatever with like the snake and
Gotcha.
everything. It's
Okay.
uh, it's like I think it's like 30,000 something square feet.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty good size, and in the middle sections actually has like two-story buildings in it with like a wraparound walkway connecting the two of them and everything. And
What?
it's
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
it's all indoors. It's really fun. There's four different spawns and everything, and he's got multiple game modes and everything that they cycle through.
Holy shit. Is this do they have a online presence like their
Oh yeah, they
field?
got Instagram, Facebook. There's Gabe himself. There's Master Key Airsoft on YouTube. That's his YouTube channel. And then I got a few buddies like TKS Dags is on there. He's on Instagram as well. There's Druzer. He's on YouTube and Instagram.
No shit. MK Airsoft.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. I got to see this field, man. That sounds awesome. I don't think I've ever seen an indoor like that.
It's pretty dope, and it's pretty well put together. Like it's enough so that they have like local law enforcement and SWAT and everything come out there and train and whatnot.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit. MK Airsoft. Yeah. No spaces or anything. Yep. Oh no, this is in Norway. Never mind.
Oh, it's not that one.
Okay.
I mean, I'm willing to make
Yeah.
a trip eventually, but I can't do it right now.
Let's go there for Christmas, man. Fucking
It's a
snow.
fucking go. I've already got snow. It's starting to snow up there, up here today.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm like,
You gonna?
stop. I'm not ready.
So you're in Medina. I always tell people Cleveland because most people I talk with are either in a different country or way different state and are not familiar. But
Right,
me and my wife actually grew up in Cuyahoga Falls. Cuyahoga
right. I
Falls.
remember. I remember you telling me about that.
Right. So I tell people Cleveland or Akron because most people have heard of that.
Right.
Um,
They're the two big northern Ohio cities that everybody knows.
yes. But yeah, we actually grew up in Cuyahoga Falls, and then I lived in Akron for a little bit, just a few months before we moved here, to South Carolina.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I gotta find this MK Airsoft and see what the field looks like.
I want. I can try and send you.
Yeah,
'Cause
send me.
I mean, I have my TikTok and everything. I got a couple clips from that and whatnot.
So do you post? Speaking of TikTok, do you post airsoft stuff on TikTok?
I
Are
do.
you
Yeah.
able to without it getting
Yeah.
removed?
I just have to put like I just put like big disclaimers and like it says airsoft and then it has like three exclamation points at the beginning, three exclamation points at the end, and then I'll have like in the like description or whatever airsoft as like a warning. So I just throw out like a bunch of disclaimers. Like I've had to dispute with
And
TikTok
that
a few
works.
times now. Yeah, every once in a while I gotta dispute it, but then they'll go back and look at it and be like, okay, this is fine.
Huh. So if you don't put those disclaimers on and you dispute it, do you get the same results? Like, is there consistency with the disclaimer thing?
Sometimes there's only one I wasn't able to get like appealed or whatever, and it was literally just me like dry firing my high kappa in my room,
Yeah.
like just demoing my 3D printed slides I do, and that was never allowed. That was never allowed to
So
be put back
weird.
up again. And I was talking to I am Dylan from Nebula Airsoft earlier today, and he said he had similar issues. Like he
Yep.
can go and like post a video of him at the field, like murking a bunch of dudes, but he shows his like gun shooting in his bedroom, and they flag it, take it down. It's so stupid.
So I wonder. Okay, so I did so the backspin episode we did not long ago. I for last month. I said so I wanted one of the things I brought up for them. I was like, so please somebody explain to me or convince me that disclaimers on airsoft videos for any platform,
Mhm.
YouTube, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, is useful. Like, where show me in the rules where it says you need a disclaimer, and everyone's like, well,
Really,
there's no
there is
rules.
none. Yeah,
No, there's no
it's
written
literally
thing.
just the attacking, targeting, just for like gun culture in general. I think is just what's happening.
Well, that was my point to kind of get them to is so I'm like, so you guys know that there's all these really big YouTube channels and Instagram accounts that are real steel guns, and they're out there
Right,
shooting, just blasting away, bro, pa pa, shooting all
right.
these targets, fucking hunting, shooting deer and
Yeah,
and
and like
boar,
showing the bloody
blood.
like
Okay,
bodies and everything. Yeah,
not one disclaimer on any of those videos, not one disclaimer, from the creator, from the YouTube creator or the Instagram whoever, account.
right.
No disclaimers saying, "Oh, this is a safe environment. We're using eye protection. We're using whatever." And these are real guns that could literally kill you, okay?
Right. Significantly
Uh
worse than airsoft
than
BBs.
airsoft. And then I'm scrolling through and I see all these, videos. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then I see airsoft videos and they're like, "Wait, stop. YouTube, don't ban me. This is an
Right.
airsoft gun. Disclaimer, warning,
Or like
please
even like
look,
before
it's
the
a
video
fake gun."
starts, they got to
I'm
put
like,
something in there
Jesus
saying this is
Christ,
airsoft done in like a safe environment, blah
what
blah
are you
blah. Just like at the
doing?
full beginning. Yeah,
I
no,
don't.
it's honestly insane.
So I said, so the comment I made, I was like, it's kind of funny. You guys are doing disclaimers, you're getting banned or whatever, your shit won't post. And these gun channels are just steadily going fine, no problems.
Right.
And I said, maybe you should start saying that they're real guns. Like,
Maybe
what the
they'll actually be
fuck?
okay.
I don't get it.
I'll
But
give you
anyway,
start adding some muzzle flashes with the blaster, just add some bang sounds in the
I know,
background.
right?
We got those big flashing, like flashy tracer units now. Just start adding gun sound effects in the background. You'll be
Oh,
fine.
no shit, right? Put a baffle. We got one of these guns in the mystery box that had a baffle on it. I had no clue
Uh-huh.
what it was because I'm used to seeing the regular orange tips, and we had this one that was flared out, and I
Oh,
can't
like the
remember which.
amplifier or whatever on them.
Right, the amplifier, yeah. And I said, what the fuck? Why is this thing so huge? Like we always take the orange tips off and
Right.
replace them. So they're like Johnny and my sons were like, no, it's like a baffle or a amplifier or something for the sound. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And we shot it. I was like, whoa, what a
Yeah.
huge difference it made.
Yeah, I call them like they're either like the popcorn cans or
Mm,
the belchers. I like calling them belchers 'cause
nice.
pop, 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 pop. Especially with some of the HPA stuff. Like if you play with like the amount of like air volume coming out of HPA guns, you can kind of get those to sound differently. So
Really?
they're yeah. So if you can control the volume of air coming out, it might affect your performance, but just for shiggles, like
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
have it play with it a little bit to make it sound however mean you want it to.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Well, man. So your Instagram and do you have a YouTube? I can't remember.
I do. I don't really have much on it right now. It's
Okay,
like
but you
the whole
mostly.
YouTube issue, like we were just talking about, has kind of been like a mild deterrent from going like
I
balls in
gotcha.
on it.
Yeah.
So I'm working my way up to it. I'm also trying to find time to actually like learn how to video edit or have like somebody help me video edit because
I
between
know.
I work 12 and a half hour shifts
Oh
like
shit.
through
Yeah.
Yeah, so for like 3 days of my week, I'm completely indisposed. Like I
Yep.
wake up, I go to work. I wake up, I go to work. That's all I got.
Now, are
And then
you
on
on
my
day shift?
night shift,
Oh, you're night shift.
yeah. So I'm up all night from like
Yeah.
4 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. is like
Yep.
my work shift. But I get
Yep.
paid the full 12 and a half, so my lunch is paid, which is nice.
That's how ours was. I did that shift for I did night shift for 20 almost 20 years, and not steadily, different places, and so sometimes like down here the last 15
Yeah.
years it was 12-hour shifts,
I remember
night
you
shift.
saying in I was listening to the one you did with Click Click Boom Photography. I can't
Oh
remember
yeah.
her name. I was listening
Yeah,
to that
Val.
earlier, and I remember you saying you were uh used to be like manufacturing maintenance
Right.
and stuff for a while.
Uh-huh.
I've done kind of like a mix of that. So like I've done CNC machining and like even like manual machining and all that kind of stuff. And I've done
Yeah.
everything from tool and die to aerospace to automotive. I've kind of like dabbled in almost everything.
Oh yeah.
So I've had to do a lot of like my own machine maintenance and whatnot as well. Like I had a old Akuma lathe that committed suicide pretty much, or
Oh shit.
unalived itself. If this is for YouTube, we'll say unalived and we'll cut that little first part out.
Unalived?
Unalived. It unalived itself.
What the fuck?
So it's the wildest thing. Completely ignored the program I wrote. And it so the Z axis driver, the one that controls how the Z axis is read and everything,
Right.
died.
Oh shit.
So when it was sitting in the back of the machine, it just shot all the way forward with my
Oh.
turret and just ran my turret into the spindle.
Oh
So it,
Jesus.
yeah, it stripped the taper pins, stripped the bolts. The thing like switched two different tool positions and
Oh my
completely
God.
misaligned my spindle and everything too. I had to take the entire frame of the machine apart and like realign everything.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
that was a fun learning experience because God forbid my boss pay for maintenance. So anything we did it ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so common, dude. The plant that my two sons work at right now, they have one maintenance guy per night shift, right? So for the whole for all their machines, yeah, which is pretty typical night shift. We run, night shift. In my experience, all the factories I worked at, we run the same amount of machines as day shift.
Right.
We run
But
the
it's
same
always been a
shit.
skeleton crew in term of people. Like
It
you have the
is.
bare minimum of what can operate, and it's just barely there.
Yes. Day shift has like four maintenance guys. We'll have one or two, um, and they're shitty typically. So,
Yeah.
like they're good guys, but they don't know what the fuck.
Right.
So it's
And
very
that's like
typical.
my shift for a long time where I'm at now. They didn't have a like tech on night, like a support role.
Mm,
So we don't have engineering on night. We don't have anybody to ask for help if like let's say there's a question on the prints or something changed, there's like a revision or something's missing on like a print. We don't
right.
have anybody to ask for that stuff.
Yep.
And they didn't have a tech to like help with like stuff that could be potentially wrong with the machine or who knows like more in depth on like G&M codes to like track what's going on or what could be going wrong.
Uh huh.
So all that kind of stuff. So I'm like the first person they've had as a tech for a long time. I think for a couple years now at least.
Oh my
So
God.
far as far as I know, I'm doing all right. Everybody seems to like me, and they tell me I'm doing a good job. So I think I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, it's cool to learn all that stuff. I did working in that field, uh, all under one roof. You got the tool and
Yeah.
die guys. We definitely chewed some of the same dirt, like with that kind of stuff, because we made it was aluminum die casting was the first plant
Yeah.
I worked in. So we had tool and die. We had the molds and everything, and so I worked with those guys, and then of course maintenance, and then machine operators, which is what I started out. I started out packing parts. Then I went to inspecting, quality control.
Yeah. That's actually what my
And,
wife does. We work at the same place.
oh shit, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I did QC for a year and a half, and then I became an operator, machine operator, and then I went to maintenance and yeah, set up. I would set up, pull the dies out when they break, put new ones in, or if there was a mold
Oh
change or
yeah.
whatever. So did that for
Work
quite a.
worked your way all the way through from like the basic of
Oh yeah,
basic and up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I start out. This is 1994. I started there, packing parts, $8 an hour. Didn't know shit, you know.
Yeah. As like one of my worst jobs and one of the jobs that actually spurred me to like going to like trade school and everything to like get into what I'm doing now. It was I don't know if I should say the name of the company or not. I don't even think they're around anymore. They end up getting bought out by a bigger company, but we were
Oh,
it was a big metal stamping place,
okay.
like heavy tonnage stamping machines that were like
Yeah.
making like transmission gear sets and all that kind of stuff
Oh
for like
shit.
F1 race cars and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh
But
damn.
we were
Okay.
working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off.
Yeah.
And that was by far like the worst job I ever had. And
I'm sure.
I did that for about 3.5 months. And then when they weren't going to hire, it was through a temp service. So, and they weren't going to
Right.
hire me on. And then I
Oh.
heard that other people had been there for like a year and a half, 2 years and never got hired in. I was like, this is a dead end. I'm not going to
Oh.
make it here.
Hell no.
So that was super, super bad. And like, I ended up going to, anybody from Ohio probably knows Sinclair Community College if they're from like the Dayton area or whatnot.
Mm.
They're a really really good school and they have a really really good like CNC and like machining program and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up looking into like a aptitude test, went there, took that. They recommended like machining and whatnot. I almost wish I would have done engineering because I'm borderline engineer now, just without the piece of paper. But
And the extra pay.
right, and that extra like 30 grand a year, that would be really nice.
Right.
But so I did that, and I did that for 3 years, and came out with 2 degrees and 4 certificates in CNC technology and CNC machinings. And just going through like the community college and doing like the trade program, I only had like I think just about 8 grand in like student loan debt. So it wasn't even that much for
Oh,
three
okay.
years of school. Yeah, for 3 years of
That's not
schooling,
bad.
and yeah, and by the before I even graduated, I was already making like almost $19 an hour.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
like I was like up there already in the machine shop I
Right.
was at, and from there I've only gone up as I've moved
Hmm.
around and learned so much more. The more you know, the more you get.
Right.
So, and I'm also extremely motivated. I love learning. I love picking up
Yeah.
new technology, seeing stuff. If I go to like a trade show or something, I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
I went with a whole group of people when I was working at an aerospace shop. They take a big like charter bus like every 2 years when the IMTS show comes up in Chicago. So
Oh,
we all
nice.
went up there to do that, and I got up there and I just disappeared. Nobody knew where the hell I was. And then I come back for like meeting up for the bus to go to the hotel at the end of the night, and I just come back with like armfuls of bags of just like free goodies and everything. That me going around talking to people were just giving me freebies and like test stuff and everything like that. So I
Right.
come back on the bus, I'm throwing like armbands and rubber bands and like little demo packs and stuff to people and everything on the bus. I was like, they just gave me stuff. I just came.
That's awesome, dude. Hell
I
yeah.
love going to that stuff. I love seeing all the new things.
Yeah, same here. Well, I've never been to one of those, but I would be the same way because I'm same way. You know, like very open, very teachable. Like
Mm-hmm.
I never get this. Even when I was like in a position of management and whatever, I never had this like, oh, I know more than somebody. Like
Right.
I don't give a fuck where the information comes from. I just like learning new stuff. So if somebody knows more, that's hey, fine, whatever.
Right.
But
Don't ever think you're the smartest motherfucker because there's always going to be somebody else
God
who knows
no,
more about something. That's why
bro.
I've had a saying since I was like younger. I think I said I came up with this when I was like 12. This tells you how much of a loner and how alone I was back then, and all I did was think. I used to say, in order for anyone to ever truly learn, they must first always admit that they are ignorant.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of like live by when I'm learning things or going into new stuff. Like I have to always be like, people know more than me in this. I have to be willing to listen. I have to be teachable. So I am forever ignorant, and there is always something more.
Oh, there's always something more for sure. Hell yeah,
Yeah, I
dude.
mean that's like how the 3D printing like took off and everything was me just like, this is cool. And my wife actually bought me my first printer for my birthday.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Okay.
and I still
So
have it
what
over
were
there.
you like as far as you were like okay, I was looking up you're watching videos on it. How did you get interested in 3D printing?
So it started like early on. I want to say this is like two 2017ish was about when I got my first one that she got me,
Yeah.
and it kind of started off with YouTube videos. Like I was liking a bunch of machining stuff and manufacturing stuff. So when additive manufacturing started becoming more available, I started seeing more and more. And then the commercially available, like just very basic, like bed slinger style machines started coming out, like the old Creality CR10, which is actually what I have. I
Yeah.
still have that same one from all the way back then that I've just upgraded and kept over the years.
Oh, okay.
And it just kept going. I kept learning more stuff. I've gotten more interested in more advanced materials and new technologies, and I just want to keep going with it. And I'm looking at getting a new machine, hopefully within the next year or so, that like basically doo-doos on all the ones I have now, that prints like really really fast, really really good quality. And I want to start going towards the higher end of things so I can start doing stuff at a bigger scale.
Right. Oh, that's cool, man. So what do you print now? What's the most thing you print now? You have four of them. What are you
So
printing?
it's a mix of my high kappa slides, my barrels I design. I do mag wells, triggers, pistol stands. I do custom stuff for a lot of my other guns and stuff as well that I design. And then I do have like just commissions. Like people are like, "Hey, I found this model online. Will you do this for me?" I'll be like, "Yeah, just time and material since I didn't make the model."
Yeah.
So I do it really simple. So I'm open to like just any kind of commission. Like if you have a model or you find something online that somebody likes, I'll be like, all right, yeah, I can do that for you.
Oh
Just tell
shit.
me like
Okay.
what color you want. Like I have a whole cabinet over here that's just like the whole top two shelves are all filament of different kinds and different colors and everything like that.
Really?
Yeah, so I
And
have quite a
what
bit.
brand of filament do you use? Do you have a certain one that you like?
The primary one I'm going through, which actually they just sent me a coupon code the other day because I made a joke on their Instagram post, is
Oh shit.
3D Fuel. They're based in the United States. They're a filament manufacturer here. And I made a joke because one of their suppliers for materials is here in Ohio. So
Oh shit.
I made a joke about being stuck here in Ohio, and then they sent me a coupon code to use on my next order. So I just went and ordered like 4 rolls of filament earlier today too.
Oh, that's wild. Okay. Yeah, the only one I've heard of is Geno's, I think. Yeah,
I think
Geno's.
I've used them. I mean, there's so many,
I'm
and even
sure.
like once 3D printing started getting big, like most of the like brands you see on like Amazon and stuff like that are just rebrands from like the same factories, just with their name slapped on it. But
Right.
there's a few really really good ones that I personally like to use. Like
Yeah.
Hatchbox is pretty good. They're pretty recommended on Amazon. eSun is good. Duramic's pretty good. Uh, Inland from like Micro Center and whatnot, which I love Micro Center. I use a lot of their filament. I use them the majority of the time. Uh, and Now I've started getting into 3D Fuel because they have a lot of like higher end filament. You pay more for it, but you get more capabilities out of it, considering what it is and how easy it is to print. I really, really like them.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, my son, Chris, he's actually on a YouTube channel. He got one, a 3D printer, and I
Hmm.
really didn't know anything about it. He made me, I said, hey, can you make like a phone stand so I can, set my phone right here next to the monitor while I'm, doing shit, whatever. So he made a little phone stand. And then I was doing tech on all these guns that they were getting.
Yeah,
So I needed a little, like a block, basically, just a real, a thick block that I could, because I was pounding out pins, like cotter pins and shit
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
punch pins or whatever.
Like
So
an
I was
armorer's block almost.
right. So I was like, hey, I need a block in here because I have, this desk is, we built this desk. Me and my sons built this desk that this is sitting on. Well, you can see it all the way back here. It's just
Yeah,
plywood, 3/4 inch plywood. Oh yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
So that's my USB dongle with all my USBs and micro SD cards
Nice.
and stuff like that for it.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Okay. Yeah,
So
it's
it's
pretty
like
cool, man, when you can just make your own shit like that that lasts, for a long time.
right. And now that there's so many resources for like 3D design and everything, and so many like classes even just for free on YouTube, just going over
Right.
tutorials and whatnot. Like if you can think of it or you have an idea for something, you can just make it happen. And being
Yep.
able to have like a 3D printer like commercially available that's like not gonna it's not gonna be amazing if you don't spend a decent chunk of change, but they're getting really, really good and lower priced. So even like
Right.
the lower ones are like better than my big one that I had back in the day that I've had to upgrade to keep up with everything else.
Right.
So it progressively changes. It's becoming more and more like easily available, and it's honest. I'm happy about it. I'm excited about it. Competition, I'm okay with. to an extent. Don't copy my stuff. No. But I really enjoy like where it's going and how it's like the maker movement is such a big deal now, and like being able
Hmm.
to just take whatever you want and make it. You could
Yeah.
take three. People are figuring out how to take like 3D assets from like video games to take like character models or like parts and components and shit from different things in them, and then turning around and then making them into 3D printable 3D models.
That's crazy,
It's
dude.
wild all
Yeah.
the stuff you can do now.
Now the that one printer you're talking about, the resin one, does that
Mhm.
so it prints differently than filament?
Yeah, so the resin one, specifically this one, there's like a couple different styles. There's DLP, SLS, and uh, there's another one. It's a different way of doing it. I can't remember what that one's called. There's also like 3D sintering, which is like a laser printing each layer and layer in like metal or plastic powder and whatnot. uh yeah,
Jesus.
there's all kinds of different ways of doing it now. It's quickly developing, but like the resin ones, so it's a UV sensitive resin, so it hardens and cures when exposed to UV light.
What?
So the way this does it, it slices it in layers like a regular 3D printer to do like each layer as it builds up. But instead of like with FDM where the nozzle has to go around and build it up, this flashes the entire image like a picture. So it cures the entire image all at once, all the way across the build plate as it builds up.
What?
So yeah. So let's say here, I actually have a little resin print I did, and it came out really, really good. It's a little Bulbasaur. Oh, that light might be too bright to see it. But
There we go.
came out with all the details on it, all the little spikes and everything. That was done on the resin printer. I had to put a big ass drain hole in the bottom of it though, so you don't lose a bunch of resin inside.
Oh wow.
But the benefit of resin printing, if you get the right stuff, is so unlike FDM where the nozzle has to go to each section of the printer, if you like have multiple parts set up, the
Right.
resin one does everything all at once. So even though this took like an hour and a half, 2 hours, if I printed five of them, it would take the same exact amount of time because it does it all at
Oh,
once.
oh yeah, on the table.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, that's yeah, okay. See,
So
Rob was trying to explain that to me when he was talking about the resin printers. He's like, "Yeah,
mhm.
it just builds the whole thing up." I'm like, uh, I don't know
Like
what you're talking
more
about.
specific than that. Like how is it doing it?
So, because I saw the the one that Christian had, and so I'm seeing it go around and fill in. Now, have you seen the ones with that are doing the concrete one that's
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
building the concrete houses and shit?
My buddy who was in the Marines, he got out, but while he was overseas and everything on the base, he was in Kuwait. I don't remember what the name of the base was or anything, but he's in like the big one over there.
Yeah,
But they were starting to build structures and buildings out there with like the concrete 3D printers. Yeah, so he was
that's
actually out
crazy,
there getting to
bro.
use them and everything, and he was like in
That's
charge of
wild.
like hazard management and stuff while he was out there.
Oh shit. Okay.
So that was really cool. He was telling me about a lot of that stuff. I mean, not too much, obviously. I don't want to
Yeah,
get in
yeah,
trouble,
yeah.
but
You don't want to get put on a list or something.
right, right.
That's
But
funny. Okay.
and
So
it's really cheap to produce.
your Discord name handle is Raptor with a camera, and then
Right.
your Instagram is Raptor Customs, and
Yeah.
then so obviously part of that is from what you make with your 3D stuff, right?
Yeah.
The custom custom parts, and then so Raptor with a camera. Are you also a photographer?
No, so that's kind of like leaning in towards
Okay.
like the TikTok and the YouTube and stuff.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
I did just kind of did like Raptor with a camera, kind of like general, because I not necessarily just gonna stick to like airsoft stuff. I want to do gaming.
Gotcha.
I want to do other stuff. I actually do want to start a podcast at some point if I can get around to actually like
Hell yeah.
getting it rolling and everything.
Well,
So it's like
you got everything right here. Just
I know
start.
I got it going now. So now I just
Just
got to
start.
get like
Yep.
just figure out how I want to go about it and everything. So
Yeah.
I left Raptor with a camera kind of like general, so I could kind of
Right.
hit multiple topics at once as I kind of like figure out what exactly I'm doing.
Gotcha. Oh, that's wild. Okay. Well, you got so on your post earlier. Well, go over how you got started into airsoft, and then And what led you to go to that milsim that we met at? Uh, and then well, I want to see some
Some of the
of your
custom stuff
gear.
hiding back here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
So uh got into airsoft, shit, it was like 15 years ago. 15 years at this
Damn.
point. Yeah, like I just turned 29. Like I was at Iron Dagger for my birthday.
Oh shit.
So
Okay.
that was my whole big birthday deal, was me going out there. So
Right. Nice.
uh been to GTI multiple times, love it. Been out there for Stonebreaker, was like the first time I ever went. I have like 4 Stonebreaker patches.
Nice.
Uh so I've been out there quite a bit. But I first started getting into airsoft. Never really been around guns or anything that much. My family, at least my grandma and whatnot, had a background in guns because they grew up in Kentucky and everything. But I was never really exposed to it. But it started with my best friend Hayden and his dad buying some like cheap Springer shotguns. You ever been to Trader's World, way down south,
Huh.
heading towards Cincinnati? There's a
No.
big giant flea market out there, and they had an
Oh,
airsoft
okay.
store in there. And he just bought a bunch of Spring shotguns and like clear Springer pistols and everything.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So it started with us just going out back in the woods behind their house and just shooting each other, or going around in their barn that they had out there, and we
Yep.
just shoot each other out there. So it started with that. And then one friend got like a JG M4 from like way back in the day when they all shot like 420 feet per second. That was like
Damn.
everything that came out.
Right.
So it started with that, and then everybody just started building up. And the next thing you know, I got a whole group of dudes with bunch of like JGs and everything else, because none of us could afford like Classic Army at the time, or back when Classic Army was like the Gucci brand. It was like Tokyo Marui, Classic Army were like the Gucci brands when I first started. Then KWA came out with their
Yeah.
version 2.5 gearbox that was just beefy and reinforces all. I love that gearbox to this day. I still love
No
it.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, they're just beefy as all hell, and they were
Yeah.
fantastic guns out of the box, better than anything else back then.
Huh.
So those were like the Gucci brands, but none of us could afford that. So we all had like JGs and stuff because they were like $140 compared to like $300.
Right.
So it started with that, and then I was a ref for a field for a long time at I-70 paintball,
Hmm.
uh, in Huber Heights, which they're still around.
Oh,
Then
okay.
they started doing airsoft, so I was working out there, and then I was part of G2 Tactical and G2 Tactical Consulting. So we were training dudes, we were hosting events, we were doing night events, all that kind of stuff. So I was with them for God, probably over about 9 years before I moved up here and just couldn't like fulfill my responsibilities anymore.
Yeah.
But I was with them for quite a while. I'm still good with everybody, and with his name, he goes by Sarge, it's Chris Collins. He's like former special forces. He's like the guy who trained me up since I was like 15 years old and
Shit.
showed
That's
me all
cool.
kinds of stuff. So yeah, so that got me into it really, really hardcore when I started getting involved with all that stuff as well.
Right. And then the Iron Dagger. This last one is that was what you said you were there for your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh
So
shit. Okay.
the last Stonebreaker I was at, I won a golden ticket. So it
Oh, did you
expired.
really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it expired this year. So I used it for Iron Dagger 2 to kick it out before it expired at the end of the year. So I was like,
Right.
let's go. It's my birthday. Let's do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So other than hotel and gas and whatnot, that's all I had to worry about.
That so when I met you there, that was my second time, only my second time being at a milsim,
Hmm.
and they're both at GTI. I went to Stonebreaker, and then I went to this one here. So that was it. And I went both times as press.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I went to an indoor field with these guys once or twice. I think twice. Yeah, twice. I went one time just to watch and then film. Second time I went, and I actually did like an interview with
Hmm.
a couple of the guys while I was there. This is before I started doing podcasts. I was just kind of I made it.
Curious and talking and everything.
I was really I got along with I really liked the guys that had it was Airsoft Columbia, and so I talked with them, and when the video came out, when I put it together, it was a short video, but it was like they hit me up. They were like, "Bro, this is awesome! Like this is like a commercial for our field." I was like, "Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to do." Was
Oh yeah.
promote you guys. So it turned out really good. But that was the only. So I've only been to 4 airsoft things in my life. So
God, there's a lot.
I
And
know a
there's
ton.
so many different like extremes of gameplay going from like a regular friendly open play to a like Milsim West event where you're
Yeah,
rucking for 40 hours and you're out in the rain, out in the field, and it's Rust 4 versus NATO and all that kind of stuff. Like it gets wild.
yeah, for sure. Do you think Milsim West events are like the hardest Milsims that somebody would go to? Like, is that is that the
There, if
pinnacle?
I would say like if you're wanting like at least from what people have said, like that's like the pinnacle of like borderline like military life for 3 days or
Right.
2 days for the event or however long you're out there for the weekend.
That's
Like,
how that's how I feel from what I've talked about and what people have told me and seeing their videos. I think so too. Yeah. Like
yeah,
you're
like
legit
they
in the
go
military
hard.
for like 2 days or 2.5 days. Yeah, it's.
It's wild. I would
Hmm.
like to go out to one. I personally haven't been out to one yet, but I would like to at some point. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm mostly trying to get myself in better shape for that kind of stuff at the moment.
Well, that's what I tell people, man. In fact, when I was talking to Val, Click Click Boom, towards
Mm-hmm.
the end, she said, her son, who's like just I
I
think
think like
15 or
15 or
16,
something. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, he wants to go to a milsim. Uh, he wants to go to a milsim, and he was talking about milsim West, and I said, oh no,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
something.
I actually remember that moment because I literally just listened to that specific episode like the other night.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, dude, tell him that is something to work towards, okay? Go
Yeah.
to a different, milsim first. See, how you can fare on that one and then work your way up to that because yeah, that's you're going to be hurting if you get there and you're not prepared.
Oh yeah, I just like physically. Also, you got to make sure you have the right stuff out there because no,
Right.
like people will help you, but I doubt people are going to waste their time and resources like to take care of you if you're not
Uh-huh.
prepared. They'll be
Right.
like,
Absolutely.
you should have looked at the list because they put like a big list of things you should have on you and what you should bring, like a packing list. And if
Uh-huh.
you don't have that kind of stuff, they might just look at you and be like, "Sucks to suck." Like
Oh,
you,
no, you know what they do? I don't know if you've seen the videos, but when before they start the event, you have roll call. Like you got to be there
oh
at a
yeah,
certain time and everyone lines up and they go down the list and they make you pull out those items out of your fucking pack. Like show it
oh
to me. Like just like in the military, socks, whatever socks.
right,
You got to hold those fuckers up. And the one video I saw, the guy, the dad brought his son, who was a teenager, and the son didn't have the socks. And his dad looked at him like, no mercy, bro. He's like, I told you you go over that list. You better have all your stuff, because I think they won't let you get out there if you don't
yeah.
have
If you
like
don't
shit.
have everything,
Right. So I'm sure there's a little leniency with some of those things, like whatever. But the main rule is that they don't allow. Once you leave, you ain't coming back. So if you leave the
right,
AO, there's no breaks. So if you leave the AO, bye. So
right. Like, there was your Milton West experience. You shortened it
oh
for
yeah.
yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that would suck.
So
Like
you've been playing for a while. You've been to a bunch of mil sims. Have they all been Third Coast?
a decent bit of them, yeah. They're
Okay.
definitely like my favorite to go to.
Yeah.
For the most part, like coming all the way from Ohio, I've been down all the way down to South Carolina almost like once a year at least
Yeah. You
to go
definitely
down
like it
there and
that way.
play.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
me and my buddies, we really love the whole GTIAO and everything.
Yeah. So my sons and JP, they went. That's the majority of what they've gone to.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, oh yeah, that's the majority. They did do. Gone to a couple different ones, different fields put on by different event hosts, but I think they've been to 9 GTI events. Or I mean, Third Coast
Hmm.
um, at GTI. So
I believe it because I think
they love
this
it. Yeah, they
was
love it.
number 5 for me. I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
I'm
they
trying to
went
remember.
to. Was it so what does Third Coast do out there? They do Black Start Crisis, they do Iron
Iron
Dagger,
Dagger,
Stonebreaker,
Stonebreaker. I I think
Bone
the other ones
Crusher.
are.
No, Bone Crusher is a
I
different
think that's at
location.
Guardian Center. I think that's the one in
Guardian
Georgia.
Center. That's the name of that one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then I don't know. They have like the handful of lists that they go through like every year. And I think Iron Dagger. I mean, this was Iron Dagger too, so this is like the one of their more recent additions.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the ones we listed are the main ones that they actually have out there at GTI. They're
Yeah,
the
I
only
think
ones who come
Stone
to my mind.
right. And then Stonebreaker, I think I heard Stonebreaker was their biggest event that they have that they put on as far as like
Yeah,
people.
usually they have like 600-ish people out there, and
Bro.
which we didn't really have like an opening day like roll call at Iron Dagger. So I don't know if they did it at the. You said you went to Stonebreaker earlier in the
Yeah.
year. I don't know if they
Yeah.
did it there, but usually where they have like everybody line up in their squads and rows, and they have like the big opening ceremony and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, they did on Saturday. Yeah, they do the.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, for Stonebreaker, they did that.
yeah. Okay, so I wasn't sure.
Uh,
Sometimes they'll have the first one I went to. It was
yeah, I don't know if they
300
did
v.
that.
It was like 300 v 300, and there was
Yeah,
tons of vehicles. Like all, it was just all hell the whole entire time, and it was fantastic. And
that's
like
how
we had,
this Stonebreaker was. Yeah.
I wanted to go to Stonebreaker. I can't remember why I couldn't go. There was a reason I couldn't go this year, and I can't remember what it was.
You were 3D printing some shit.
Definitely for sure. There's some 3D printing going on. I want to say it was a death, and I think it was when I was because my grandfather had died
Mm,
in February, and I think I just didn't go because it was like it's like early March, and it was
right.
like mid end February when my grandfather died, so it was
Gotcha.
dealing with all that kind of stuff. So I think that's why I
Sure.
didn't go. So then I made
Gotcha.
it up with Iron Dagger 2 for going for the year.
So what kind of gear you got back here that you laid out and posted about? Let's begin the show. Yeah, it's a little dark. I
I
like that
know,
though.
and I was trying to find like a decent light, so I kind of have one like
Oh,
that sucked. I just drove myself in the face.
strobe. Yep.
But even that doesn't do a lot. Like I have this shitty 3 light, and I need LED bulbs up there. They suck.
Well,
But
you can. I guess
usually
you could
stuff over.
grab. Oh, okay. Now I can see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole table is lined with guns.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Is that a 249?
that is a very, very custom Stoner 63. If you want to see that
What?
one first.
No, no. We can build up to that. Go ahead. Yeah,
So
you got the floor, brother.
so this is one of my personal high kappas. This is one of the first slide designs and whatnot I did. So this whole slide is 3D printed. The barrel's 3D printed. Triggers 3D printed, and the magwell's 3D printed. And
What?
yeah, and this slide has like 10,000 rounds on it.
Holy shit.
So I've had no issues. This is also one of the pistol stands I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, fully functioning, works totally fine. I use it literally all the time. This is one of my favorite ones to grab when I go and play indoors,
Right.
just because it looks good and it's very, very smooth and cycles just super fast. And there's like,
That's
you know how like a lot of kappas got that heavy extra wobble.
yeah.
Mine don't really have that.
Because of that, because it's a lot lighter.
Yeah. And like
Okay.
I even have like a decent amount of recoil buffers in here and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, just to short stroke it. So
Right.
this thing is super snappy.
Dude, that's cool.
And like I said, the whole outer barrel's 3D printed. I'm working on a new design right now because I had an issue where they were snapping.
Mm.
So I'm working around it. I'm trying to figure out a way to like minimize like the stresses on it. So I'm
Okay.
working on a non-recoiling style barrel. So it'll actually like not let the hop up unit and stuff like move freely while also not like affecting the cycling and functioning. And so far it's fine. It works absolutely fantastic on my
What?
3D printed slides, my metal slides.
No. What do you lost me? What's not functioning
So
or a non-functioning what barrel?
non-recoiling.
Non-recoiling.
So usually the inner barrel and hop up unit is kind of like free floating and can move around.
Right.
So it like travels back and forth. Like I'll grab, I have a bunch of extra like outer barrels laying around. I grab one real quick. So like most outer barrels, like a very basic one, like the whole hop up unit moves,
Right.
and it's very. I mean, you can hear how loose that
Oh,
is in
it's
there.
yeah. It's just flopping around and shit.
Yeah. So what a lot of like high kappa users do, they end up like putting tape and stuff on here just to kind of like make it stiffer, so their barrels and whatnot don't move so much.
Really?
I'm making it so It's easy to get in, it's easy to lock in, and it does not move. So shot to shot, it's more consistent, more accurate. The hop up unit's not bouncing all over the
Oh
place,
shit. Okay.
and I'm
Oh, that's
hoping
smart.
it'll also increase the durability of it because now it's not bouncing back and forth,
Yeah.
beating the hell out of it. Because I
Uh huh.
was getting like breaking like right in there.
Was it wear marks? Oh, yeah. Okay. Was it
Wasn't even
rubbing on
wear marks.
something?
It was just separating at the layers.
Oh.
So it was just like the layers were delaminating from the stresses of it bouncing back and forth.
Uh huh.
So I'm hoping. So far, testing has been good. A few thousand rounds, it hasn't busted on me. So hopefully that
Damn,
continues.
that's cool. Yeah. So that's quiet too. It doesn't flop around and shit.
Oh yeah. So it's like
Huh.
this is one of my favorite slides. Is my Raptor claw design.
Nice.
It's very inspired by some of the airsoft masterpiece slides. I know somebody will say this looks just like such and such from their Edge series, which is very similar. But I actually designed this specific style slide like years ago, and I got a bacterial skin infection, so like my skin was getting eaten off of my hands and whatnot because of work.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good
The
two months of
fuck?
being out of work, and I got COVID on
Right.
top of it, so that was even funner.
Oh my god.
So so I was basically stuck at home. So I was like, you know what? I'll revisit this project, and it just led to like the full snowball into what is happening now and what
Yeah.
I'm doing with all these. So like I have 5 1 length. That was a 4-3. This is another slide design I do.
Nice.
And then I have my tessellation series, and this is my slick top one without the sights. So a lot of speed softers and whatnot, they don't even use iron sights or anything.
Uh.
So this is just smooth
Yeah.
across the top. No need for extra mounting to hold in your like the nozzle return spring or any of that kind of stuff. So you just
Okay.
pop your blowback unit in, put your barrel and everything in, and you're good to go.
Damn, that's
Really,
cool.
really simple.
Streamlined. Okay.
So and then I have a. This is what I was actually carrying at Iron Dagger was this guy, and this guy has my black full size tessellation slide with the sights.
Oh, that's nice.
And this one just
Yeah.
also rocking the 3D printed barrel and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I'll
I
have
love
to
this
I'll
thing.
have to message you after and see what what we could work out with getting one of those slides for one of
Mm-hmm.
our guns with our logo on it.
I can do that.
That'd be cool.
100% I can do that. I've done
What
custom
if?
orders for some of the YouTube airsofters over here by me.
Right. Oh, that'd be cool. You know who else is in Ohio? It's, totally just squirrel. But is Caleb Tucker. Caleb Tucker Airsoft.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you know him or follow him. Okay.
Yeah, me and him have talked before. He likes
Okay.
my custom AK. Got
Mm,
3D printed stuff for it, everything. But he
nice.
plays at so G2 Tactical. They have their own field. They had G2 Battlegrounds in the Dayton area, and recently they got I think it's the Hidden Valley Ranch. I always want to say Hidden Spring Ranch, and I'm like, no, that's the dressing. No, or
No,
no, it
Hidden
is
Valley
Hidden Spring.
Ranch
Hidden
is
Valley.
the.
See, I try to get it right, and I still fuck it up.
You got it. Yeah,
But they
yeah.
recently acquired that field. For the longest time, it was only run by Francois and his team. But since he worked so much through like COVID and everything like that, he wasn't hosting events and whatever. So G2 has that field now, and they got like a it's like over a square mile of playable field. So there's like multiple towns and villages in the woods. There's like an airfield
Damn.
strip and everything going down there and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a really big like good outdoor experience.
Yeah,
So I need to
that
go out
sounds
there
like it.
again and like go try it out because I haven't been out there in a hot minute.
Okay, now how far away is that? Because I think so. He must be fairly
Oh.
close to you then.
I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of close. Same
Oh,
state is
okay.
close, but it's like that's all heading down towards like the Dayton area.
Oh, he's down. Oh, okay, okay.
So it's like
So
I think to the Springfield
three
field, I think
hours,
it's
two
like
hours. Yeah.
about like two and a half, something like that.
Right.
It really just depends on what highway I got to swing through out of the like three that kind of go
Uh huh.
down that way.
Right.
But I think if you just hit like almost like straight down 71, you can get like almost like straight to Springfield and get to it pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah,
So
dude. All right. What's
that's also one of
next?
the first fields I started doing events at and everything. And now, of course, I have like some of my own Like personal builds, I got like a KWA HK45. I love this thing. Ran this thing almost exclusively for a while because it just works so damn good.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic pistol. And then
Nice.
I have an FNX 45 that I ended up using even more than that. Now, this one, I did some custom millwork. I sandblasted the barrel. Uh,
What?
yeah, I did a bunch of custom
Nice.
stuff to this. So this thing is really, really nice.
Yeah, it looks cool.
A lot of the internals have also been like upgraded. It's got new bucking, new barrel, all that kind of fun stuff in it. Almost none of my guns, including my pistols, except for like three, are stock.
Gotcha. I'm
So
sure.
almost everything has been heavily upgraded and modified.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding out is people get their stuff and just immediately upgrade.
Yeah, almost nothing gets left the way it is. That's why, like, I hope more manufacturer will just like start selling the bodies or like the
Right.
parts. Like, I don't want the gun. You have nice internals, but I'm sorry, I want everything else.
Well, why don't they offer? I don't understand. There's a market for it. Why don't they offer the base version for somebody that doesn't really give a shit,
Right.
and then the upgraded version that's already upgraded, so you wouldn't have to take it apart and do it. I don't get it.
Money.
Yeah, I know, but
That's
I'm saying that
why.
you charge more for it. Like they would still, I don't know.
Right. This actually, I don't know why I wanted this gun so bad. It's a really good gun. It's the EMG Keltec RDB. This is
That's
like
it. Yeah.
the only one of my main rifles that I have not like upgraded living hell out of.
So that is a bullpup style, right?
Yep.
The mags in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, but it has the most irritating hop up to get to. It's like all the way down in there,
Yes.
and they give you a tiny, tiny window
Uh
to
huh.
like get to it in the front, but they give you oh my little tool's missing. Well, usually there's a little like flathead screwdriver thingy right there that you got to stick
Right.
all the way down there to adjust your hop up.
I think we did a video on this. We did. Todd, who's been in a few of our videos, he was actually at Iron Dagger. Um,
Okay.
but he's been, he's local to us, about 20 minutes away, and he has come over a couple times. This AEP01, he's come over, and he had that RDB and brought it over, and we got to try it out and stuff. So we made a video on that,
Hell yeah.
and he was talking about that hop up. We were like, and he was showing us all the different features on it, and he's like, okay, so the hop up, and I was like, oh my god, this thing, what the hell?
Yeah, it's annoying to get to. And
Yeah,
also I found out like it does not like fully loaded EPM1 mags.
really?
Does not like them at all. Does not want to feed for anything. If you like relieve like 100 rounds out of it, it feeds
Yeah.
totally fine. So my other mid caps and everything work fine in that gun. The EPM ones, just because of the spring pressure or whatever it is, it's enough to
Oh,
like move the hop up out of the way just from spring pressure alone to like
wow.
cause it to misfeed. So it
Huh.
does not like them at all.
That's wild.
This here is my custom P90 that shoots like a high end M4.
That's cool looking, bro.
It's wild, and I have a tracer unit and foam in here into this suppressor. So my
Oh
tracer
shit.
unit is actually inside of it,
Yeah.
and this whole gearbox in here has been redone from the gear set to the motor to the cylinder assembly. It even has a custom MOSFET with micro switch trigger and everything in here from Shadow Regime Airsoft. So this thing performs like a high end M4, like snappy trigger response, stupid rate of fire, and it's like set perfectly for the indoor field limit at my field. It hits like 1.2 joules like on the dot every shot.
Damn.
Like it's a bad boy, and people hate
Yeah.
that it's a P90 and it just shoots so good because usually
And
they got these like crappy triggers and everything.
right.
Thankfully, this body actually had like an adjustable like clamping arm in it, so I was able to adjust my trigger to work best with my micro switch. So
What?
generally, like my travel is like nothing. Like that's all I have to do to get this thing to like shoot in semi. So I bet
What?
so a P90 that I can like spam the trigger on is ridiculous.
Right.
And then the full auto is insane. Like it's super fast. It's also loud as hell.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to 6 millimeter Maniac. He is a Catalyst, and this is a couple months ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his favorite gun to run is the P90. And I said, so are you proficient with like swapping mags? He's like, oh yeah, like better than my M4. So
Really?
he's used it enough to where he's got the motion down to
got that full on
Because
muscle memory.
yeah, because
But
it's hard to get used to.
it is because it's like something that Lilacs, I think, are they have their own like expanded like magazine release on
Oh,
here, so you
okay.
can get like you can hit it easier.
Oh,
Because
okay. I
like
haven't seen
this,
it.
it's like it's
Yeah,
almost like the width of the mag. So and
you have
like
to
unless you actually
squeeze.
yeah, until you like actually get behind it to move it,
Uh huh.
like you if you just slide back, you could skip right across it and not even
Yeah.
catch it because
Yeah,
it's
you
like
got to
almost the same
fingertip that
size.
thing. Uh huh.
Yeah, so you got to like actually get in there. I was halfway thinking about it. I might just go ahead and do it, but designing my own in here that's got like flanged wings that are
Flared.
coming
Yeah.
out,
Uh
so you
huh.
can actually just like get it and go. So it's
Right.
a little easier to get to.
Huh. That's nice though.
But yeah, this I love it. So good. It's so good.
It looks so good. Okay.
It do. It do. And I got my custom ACR. There's some 3D printed stuff on here.
Oh yeah.
So I actually use this at the tier 1 at
Oh, okay.
Iron Dagger. So this is actually what I
Nice.
had out there before I had my MP7 out later. So the whole handguard's 3D printed. My outer barrel in here is 3D printed because I
What?
cannot find 11.5 inch barrels anywhere. So my entire barrel is 3D printed.
Holy shit.
And it works really, really good. And then I tweaked it so that my nozzle has better engagement with my bucking. So my consistency, like I was hitting the joule limit at 1.45 consistently.
Huh.
Shot to shot to shot was 1.54, 1.54, 1.54 back to back to back.
That's crazy.
So, and this thing shoots really, really good for only having like a 300 millimeter barrel in it. Like the range is stupid.
Huh.
So I got my barrel literally stopping like up here.
Yeah.
And to like fix the issue with like 3D printed threads because they're just generally not strong,
Gotcha.
uh, I machine tap them for 11 millimeter by 1 so that I can use like the high kappa thread adapters for my threads.
Damn. Okay.
So I actually have metal threads on it.
That's cool, man.
So
Yeah, it
this
looks
thing
badass.
this thing is awesome. I love it. I love the
Yeah,
folding
that's
stock and everything
badass.
too.
Yeah, and you got the riser on there for your scope, and I love
Oh
those
yeah.
things because when you have a helmet on or in the face protection and shit, it's really hard to get down there, on regular sights.
Yeah, it does help a lot. That's why like my sniper rifle and stuff, like I don't use like some of my higher mass just because like already have to have a riser on there to really see out of it pretty well.
Hmm.
Like I'll show you my custom sniper rifle here in a bit too. I got some 3D printed stuff on that as well that I designed.
Nice.
Like almost the majority of stuff that's still on this table has a bunch of 3D printed stuff that I designed and made for them.
I'm sure. Well, I have a question about this outer barrel. So it's super long. Now, when you print that,
My printer is really
how?
tall.
Oh, okay. So you print it like so it'll go that far.
Yeah,
Jesus.
two of my printers have almost a 15-inch print height.
Holy shit. Okay.
So I can get away with 12-inch rails and long ass suppressors and everything else without having to like break them up into sections and connect them. So it's all continuous printing.
That's awesome. Okay. Hell yeah.
And then I got I think it's a Polar, yeah, I got a Polar Star Jack in this one.
Nice.
And I just before the event, I added one of these max speed triggers, and there's like no take up at all. That's all I have to do.
Holy shit.
It's like
I mean,
right
it's barely
there.
moving, bro.
So it's like all I have. Like there's sometimes like I'll be a dick and I'll just be like, just
Yeah.
rock the finger in there.
Fanning it. Fanning it. Yeah. Or what do they call the in paintball? They feather
Yeah,
the
feathering
trigger.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a paintball gun. If I don't even know where it is right now though, but I have one with like the butterfly trigger on it. You can get you're really really good, and you got like a good control board in there. You can get like 30 balls a second on like a good paintball gun. Just a
Oh yeah. I've seen these guys, bro. I follow a bunch of Instagram accounts for paintball, and they'll do those little short videos where they're showing like doing that, and
wow.
it's crazy how fast it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
this is a
it's
nice one.
ridiculous what they all get. So this is actually my SR25.
Oh, those are nice. I like those.
So I got it shortened up with a 16-inch barrel on here.
Mm.
and nice 15-inch key mod handguard, and
Yep.
then I forget what stock. It says RS2 on it. I think it's an APS stock. You can get them on.
Okay.
They're pretty cheap. I think they're like maybe like $20. But
Okay.
it's really easy for me to get to my SCU because it just has a pin that pops out and then the whole
Mm,
back foot. So I can just get to it like super easy.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say one of the guys had something that had a stock like that. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I've seen those.
But this one has a full size Polar Star Fusion engine in it with a max model hop up with a custom spacer and everything in there to get the whole kit put together. So I can
Jesus.
so I didn't feel like spending the extra $15 on the kit, so I just sat down and 3D printed my own spacer to put in.
Nice.
So it has a max model hop up unit in here with a Promi purple bucking that is with a R hopped Orga 6.13 433 millimeter inner barrel in it,
Hmm.
and this thing just full on sends. I run point fours in this. It shoots so good.
Damn.
So this with point fours, I'm hitting just shy of 300 feet, unless I like give it like a good little arc. But I can get out.
Damn.
It can get out there. And
That's
then
wild, bro.
I just recently added the Novrich quick detach suppressor.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So that's cream filled for the shushes.
Oh, I love it.
But I ran this at Stonebreaker one year, and the back of the pipe yard, that whole
Oh
area over
yeah.
there on the opposite side of the main building.
Right.
That stupid kill hole that's like the slit this
Oh,
big up on the second
I didn't
story.
see it in person. I saw it on the videos that the guys have. Yeah.
So I was down on the ground at the back of the pipe yard, shooting from there into that slit with this gun,
Holy shit.
like sending like accurate shots. Like I was hitting around the
What?
window a bit, but I was sending shots through it as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was like, nobody can hit me, but I can get you. Again, is by far one of my favorites, and because I did all this stuff to get rid of like the usual SR25 furniture on here, it's super light for what it is.
Well, I like that skull that's on the outside of it as well.
So that was actually, I think A&K had this series. It was the Zombie Killer series. So
Okay.
it has the Zombie Killer logo on the front of it, mod EK25-Z1 or whatever. Oh, I just realized that the serial number is 69. Yay, the
Oh
sex
shit.
number. It's literally EK00069.
Nice.
Well, then it's got Luke 91 here
Huh.
as the Bioverse, and then for safety it says pray. Semi is Psalm, and then is it Asperge or S? I don't know. You can't hardly read it with the way they lasered it, but it's supposed to be some other kind of like biblical reference.
Gotcha.
So each one for the selector does all that, and then I
That's
have
cool.
a max model trigger in there as well.
Yeah. See, I've never seen that version, the zombie one. Okay.
It's like they're hard to come by anymore. I don't know if they still restock them or not. I got this
Gotcha.
as like a boneyard gun from one of my buddies who just couldn't get it to work the way he wanted it to. So he
Yeah.
sold it to me with the fusion engine and everything else uh, for like 300-ish bucks. Gave me a tank and a line and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
But
And then
now
you
I got it
just
working
you
and it's
tweaked it.
amazing.
Yeah. What was the main issue, or did you find one?
Whatever, and I'm not saying this is like Polar Star's fault. He could have just had a lemon, but that spacer I was talking about before for
Oh,
the
yeah.
nozzle,
Mm-hmm.
it was just not getting good engagement with the hop up unit. So I designed it
Gotcha.
to where I had like the proper length and spacing to get it to engage right.
Okay.
That's like the one of the biggest things that I think it's not talked about as much as it should be. Like people just talk about they throw in these parts in all their guns,
Right.
but compression components are what can make or break your accuracy.
Yeah.
Sometimes even more so. Like a good bucking, a good barrel, yeah, that'll get you some bonus. But if you have good compression and good engagement with your air nozzle to your bucking, it
Uh-huh.
is huge.
Okay.
So the volume of air is like extremely important.
Yeah, and the way those parts come together and seal or seat is very important that they do it well.
Right. So you
Okay.
get good and you get good consistent like BB engagement, like your BB make like loads in properly and everything. So having all those things line up, good air seal, good like because you can actually over volume like with a regular AEG gearbox depending on what kind of cylinder you have.
Huh.
So like if you're running like a little short barreled gun, but you have a full volume cylinder with no cutouts or anything in it, you can actually lose power and lose consistency because you're over voluming way too much with air. It can actually make your build worse.
Huh. How
Yeah.
does that work? I'm confused on how that works.
So when you're over
Or why, I
volume,
guess. Yeah.
so when you're over voluming on a shorter barrel, it has less time for it to dissipate to push the BB out. So
Mm-hmm.
you're getting a heavier push of air. But what can happen with that air is that it can actually like throw off your accuracy or your consistency.
Oh, okay. I wonder if it goes
So
around so it goes around the BB because it's pushing so hard at first, maybe.
kind of sorta.
Like maybe
It's
escapes a little bit.
yeah, it's a weird way to explain it because it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but properly volume like I saw one dude, he was using a full M16 length cylinder, like something that was meant for like a 510 20-inch, like 510 millimeter 20-inch barrel.
Yeah.
And he was using it in like a tiny like AK-74.
Oh shit.
And he switched to a properly cut cylinder for it, and his FPS jumped to 50.
Jesus.
Yeah, and his range and accuracy got significantly better just by switching out the cylinder.
So it sounds like you know a lot about this stuff, and I asked a couple of people about this. So there was a girl in Canada, and the team, and then I talked to her first, and then the team that she runs with, ELR, Extreme
Mm-hmm.
Long Range Airsoft. Um, so I asked her, or she was talking about it. She's a sniper. She was actually, she's a military veteran in Canada,
Okay.
and then was deployed numerous times, and then she plays with these guys, and they do sniper certifications and all this. Well, they're constantly their goal, like this is what they're working on all the time, is how
Mm-hmm.
to get the BB farther, more accurate, all that. So the heavier BBs. And I said, well, what is the? And I've asked this with a couple other people as well. What's the limit? Like, what is the limit, or not the limit? What's the limiting factor? Because is it, like, is it just a matter of? Because I would think the way this BB works, put more air behind it, and so a heavier spring, right? Put more
Yeah.
air behind it, and it's going to go farther. So, what do you think the limiting factor is? Like, why can't we shoot a point .5 more than a football field? Accurately. I don't
Right,
know.
right. There is like the physics factor, like the terms of like power and output and everything that is a limiting factor. That's always we have a limits for that, so we're not like literally like embedding BBs in people. And that's why we have the
Okay,
MEDs and
okay.
like the limiting factors. If because you can build airsoft guns that shoot 700 feet per second. You can build bolt action rifles that
Oh,
shoot that hard easily.
dude, listen. The guy, I talked to this girl in California. Valkyrie is her
Hmm.
Instagram thing. Her husband built he does all these custom builds. He built one. He never uses it. He just wanted to see what he could do.
What it could do, yeah.
And he showed it's on his Instagram actually. um 1300 1200 or 1300 FPS he shot
What?
out of this fucking
That's a
this
pellet rifle at that point.
bro. I
Like you think
said,
that's small
can
game
you
hunting?
imagine? I would love to see a video of this thing where full auto, or really fast shooting where you're just shooting like a wall or something, and the BBs are
Right.
just exploding,
Right.
turn
Just
into
exploding on
dust.
impact. God.
That'd be crazy. He's like, no, when I posted, he goes, when I posted this picture, of this, of the chrono, people were, blasting me like, don't you dare use that at the field. He's like, I'm not, I just wanted to see as a, tech, wanted to see
Right.
what I could do with it. So without breaking it. So yeah, that's pretty wild though.
Yeah. I think I think the biggest factor is that kind of like limit range, at least performance wise, because like we can get guns like shooting like
Okay.
500 feet per second that can hit it well over a football field.
Gotcha.
Like we can do that, and that's not
Okay.
not even as big of a problem as it used to be. It used to be way harder to do.
Yeah.
I remember there was LRB barrels, which were literally using like compound screws in like different areas of the barrel to literally bend your inner barrel inside of it to like promote the curve of it so you can get more range and actually use like the BB's like contact across the length of the barrel to add backspin and all. It was
So it would
wild.
go like, so that you could hold the barrel, you could aim straight, but it's going to go like this instead of you having to go like this,
Yeah.
raise the barrel. Okay. Oh, that's
So
wild.
it was like it was ways people were like extending range. Like this was like way back in the day.
Right. Okay.
This is like at least 12 years ago. I remember seeing this in like Airsoft Ohio forums when it was still around.
Okay.
And it was just a wild concept. And then the whole flat hop thing came out, and now we have the
Mm.
R hop, and then there's the at home the at home version of an R hop where you use like those
A
Sugru like
pencil eraser.
yeah. I've used pencils erasers for hop up nubs
Yeah.
before.
I
Like
mean,
I've
well, that's how I knew about it. I don't know shit about this stuff, bro, except what I'm asking people on here.
right. So I literally like when I first started doing like flat hop mods to get more range and everything, like I
Yeah.
started making my own nubs that I was just carving out of pencil erasers with a like an X-Acto knife.
Yep.
But those were better than any other nub I had at the time. So it was they didn't really have like flat hop nubs and all that kind of shit, or like the Namazu ones or the maple leaf stuff like they do now, like those the what is it's got a special name. It's whatever their tensioner nub is, where it's like concave to the shape and it's like longer, so it fits through your whole hop up window.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm not sure
so
about the name.
I can't remember the name of it either. I
I'm
have like
sure I've
two of
heard of
them
it though.
too, and I don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Uh, but before they had all that, pencil erasers and an X-Acto knife. That's what I had at the time, and it worked. It worked great.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I love the innovation that airsofters use to, get their shit going or whatever.
Oh, my bedroom growing up was so bad. Like I just had parts and projects, and I didn't have money. Like back in the day, it was like Sistema was like the big brand for parts and everything, and
Mm,
then there was Laylax and Prometheus and all them. They were back then, but they were like big money for a kid trying to build stuff in his room that just mows
sure.
lawns for money.
Yeah, right.
So it was like I did a lot of like I guess ghetto mods
Uh-huh.
where I just used whatever I had leftover parts from guns I worked on for other people or things I fixed. So I had like Franken guns that outperformed like high end guns people were buying because
Yeah,
I sat there and I tweaked with everything. I made sure all my gears meshed right. I was like one of the first people in my area, at least that I knew, who was talking about like motor height engagement and all that kind
right.
of stuff. So I was doing all this stuff in my bedroom and getting insane guns that were just thrown together for the most part,
Bro,
just with whatever I
listen, you're
had.
a 3D printer, you 3D print shit, okay? You're good at designing stuff, cool designs like your slides and stuff. Uh, so Franken gun, you just said,
Yeah.
which is cool. I don't think I've ever heard it before, but I understand what it means. It's a cool reference. You need to build your own custom gun and release it next Halloween and call it Franken gun, okay?
Ooh.
I'm not kidding. Put
I
like your logo if you have one, or the face
I
of
do. My wife actually
Frankenstein.
made it.
Do the Frankenstein. Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. That'd be cool. Do it in like a lime green or something, like Frankenstein was.
It could be arranged.
That'd be awesome.
But I have I sold one slide. It was glow in the dark.
Oh,
So
nice.
dude just blast it with a UV flashlight before he goes out. Whole thing's glowing like the whole game.
That's fucking awesome.
It's
Right.
badass.
Yeah, I guess if it's thick enough material, you hold the light on, you get it really going, and then it holds it for a while.
Yeah, it lasts a fair bit. Like he get it through going through most of the day before he has to before he just like hits it again just to brighten it up.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
But
So
this is
what
a
is this one?
this
The
is
Halo gun.
borderline. So
Yeah.
this is a CSI Star XR5. When I first saw these come out, they reminded me off of I think it's the CAR off of Titanfall.
Oh, Titanfall, right.
Yeah, so they looked really similar to their rifle.
Uh-huh.
So this is my wife's favorite gun. She
That's
bought it
awesome,
for
dude.
me a long time ago, but this is like her go-to. This is what she picks up and grabs.
Nice.
Uh, The whole front, it didn't have this whole front end before, so I actually
Oh,
designed and 3D printed this to put on here.
what? That looks cool, bro.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
it actually
that makes the gun.
it
That's it.
looks so much better with this whole front end on here. Like it
Right.
just like cleans it up even more. They have
Uh-huh.
another one that has a front end similar to this, but this one I got like upper venting and I got all these side porting and all this other kind of stuff on here, and it just attaches on with the screw that goes in through the front of here.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I got the Ace Tech Bifrost tracer unit in here, and it fits real snug, doesn't move. The accuracy is
What?
stupid with this gun.
Yeah.
So she changes it to blue, so it's flashing blue tracers and everything out of it.
Oh shit, that's cool.
So this is her go-to. This is her absolute favorite because she likes guns that are like unique and not normal.
Right.
Like I just bought her that Crytek Maxim 9 or whatever, the one that front looks like the silencer code where the whole front end's the suppressor.
Oh, I think I've seen pictures of it. I didn't know what it's called.
Yeah, so I bought her one of those because that was like one of the first guns I like showed her. I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
look at this thing," and she's like, "Ooh, I
Is that
like."
the one that's like it's like this thick all the way down from the trigger guard to? It
Yeah,
looks like
it's
the it looks like the pistol in the original RoboCop. No.
not quite, but kind of going down that route. It
Oh,
doesn't.
okay.
It's not. So the
I'd have
whole
to look
front
it up.
end. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you look it up real quick, it's really easy to find. Even
What's
you
it
look up
called?
like if you just look up Maxim 9, you'll see either the Crytek one or the Real Steel one too, because it's actually a real gun made by Silencer Co.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I've seen I well, that's not the one I was describing, but yeah, this is I have seen pictures of this on Instagram. I did not know it was what brand or anything like that. So, oh, that's cool looking.
yeah, so that's Crytek's first jump into the gas blowback market.
Okay.
But I showed her that, and that was like the first time she's looked at a pistol and was like, "Yes, I need that." So I bought that for her for Christmas, and then I got an email like a week ago saying that the pre-order was pushed back to February, and I was like, "You're gonna
Oh
get it. It's just gonna
shit.
be a little late."
Oh, that's crazy. Okay. So, yeah, this is the picture I'm looking at is the Crytek one on e-bike. So it looks like so it's gas blowback. It looks like the it works similar to an AAPO1 where just the back half of the slide moves.
Yeah,
I'm guessing. Okay.
yeah. It's literally just the back half, and then they even
Uh-huh.
have a kit for it where you can add in like a tracer unit into the suppressor and everything that Crytek teamed up with Ace Tech for.
This looks so front heavy, bro. Like what?
Oh yeah, it's got to be. But
I
like the
mean,
vat
damn.
on that airsoft one, when you take off the front, the vast majority of it is empty. Like the majority of the
I'm
inside of
sure.
that is hollow.
Yeah, I mean it's just aesthetics, right?
Yeah.
It's just looks.
So, and the reason she liked it is because it actually reminds her of an anime we watched a long time ago
Yeah.
called Psychopaths. And if you look up Psychopaths, you'll be able to see how close the resemblance is. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm sharing the screen right now so that anyone watching this video later can see what we're talking about. But that one, it's like a bunch of etched marks or markings on the part of the right above the trigger guard and on the hand or on the grip.
Yeah,
It makes it
the
makes it look
molded
futuristic.
stippling. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the molded stippling they have on here. It's like a bunch of jagged split section blocks all
yeah,
over it.
like barcodes.
God,
Okay.
yeah, you kind of look at it like that. Yeah,
So what was that anime called?
Psychopaths, Psycho.
Oh, Psychopaths. Yeah, I just saw it. Where was it?
I hate that when you go like one letter too far
Oh,
and it
I
takes a
know,
little.
dude. You see it? Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd it go? Okay.
So yeah, if you look at the gun up in the top where it says the HD, like you see how similar it is.
Oh, it is, dude.
Yeah, it looks
What?
almost just like it.
That's where they got the design. Okay.
I don't know if it's 100% related, but like I was like, it's uncanny.
Bro, that's 100%. I mean, that is exactly where they got that from. I mean, it's cool. It looks cool as shit.
It's badass. It was a good show. I don't think it was as popular as it should have been, but it was pretty good.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I love learning this kind of shit on here because I'm like, what is this now?
Right.
What
This
happened?
you said the what? Woo?
I know, right? All right, so let's see more of your shit, bro. You got so much stuff, and all the things you have are really good. Like
Yeah,
they're in
all of
good
them.
shape. They're upgraded. They shoot like.
I take care of my babies.
Hmm.
So this is actually my custom Stoner 63.
Dude, that is
So
badass.
it's so I was actually going to use this at Iron Dagger,
Yeah.
but I had just gotten like all the parts I wanted for it. I had gotten them in, but my HPA tanks were getting hydro tested. So I literally did not have my tanks back until the day I was leaving from Ohio to drive down to South Carolina.
Oh shit.
So I didn't get to test anything. So almost my whole entire Thursday before I drove down was spent trying to fix this and get it working again. Because funny thing about GMP, they decided to give this thing a proprietary, if I can say the word, inner barrel. I was going to put a different type bore in there. It will not work.
What?
Yeah,
Those
which is
bastards.
it's absolutely freaking ridiculous. So like most AEG inner barrels, they got that bottom groove in the bottom of it for like alignment with the C clamp and everything.
Right.
This one has one in the bottom and in the top. So and the C clamp comes from the top to
Oh
hold
my
it into place
god.
and everything. And the notches on the side don't are cut differently than a regular AEG barrel. So it literally
Jesus.
only goes in this hop up unit.
Oh my god.
So I had a new barrel, a whole new setup. I was trying to get everything to work, couldn't get it to feed properly. Just it was a complete nightmare all day long. And then like my feed tube for my box mag blew out of it when I was trying to wind it. I'm like, why
God
is this
damn.
happening?
What?
Yeah. So
Holy shit.
it was like 6 hours of me going back and forth with this thing trying to get it to fucking work. And by the end of it, I was like, fuck it, you're not going. I wanted you to go, but you're not going.
You won't behave, so you're not going, okay?
Right. And I was so excited to get this used because this thing is lightweight. Like this is an LMG and I'm holding it with one hand like it's a toy. It's
What?
so damn light.
Holy shit.
Like this is nothing. Like
Is this because you 3D printed a bunch of shit for it or something?
so the front end here I actually did with a guy I ran into on Instagram, Scum Customs. He does a whole 3D printed front end of barrel assembly and everything. So I actually hit him up for that, and he already had tighter angled grip and
Ooh,
everything
that's cool,
that had
man.
like a steeper angle. So
Hmm.
he already had that stuff. So I just hit him up. I was like, I'll support you. I'm cool with this. You got some dope stuff. Like I'll support you too. Cause like, why not? I'm going to help. People help me.
Yeah,
I'm going to help people.
right.
So the heat guard, this front sight that replaced the whole front gas block and everything that has a rail on top of it. That's fantastic for like mounting a run cam or anything like that on
Oh,
it.
right. Yeah, perfect.
So did all that, but then since I was already doing all this other 3D printed stuff, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to make my own stock. So I sat down and designed this stock for it. The butt pad is actually 3D printed rubber, so it's actually like squishy and cushioned and everything.
What?
Yeah. So it actually
Bro.
has spacing in here for the battery and everything else. My FCU is inside of it,
Okay.
everything. So all of this stupid light and like half the gun is 3D printed now.
Holy shit. Now that's
And
cool as fuck, man. It's funny because all these guys are like, when we're doing these unboxings in the
mhm,
beginning, of our channel, they're like, we'd pull out a gun, and it is cool. Initially when we first started getting them, it was definitely cool for me to see this because see all these different guns because I'm like, I didn't know anything about airsoft, so I was like, oh, they actually make real replicas. So we get the full metal ones, that are
right.
heavy and all that shit, and I'm like, it does feel cool. Like it feels really good. Like, man, this is awesome. But as we start getting more, I'm like, I really like the lighter guns. Like, I mean, if you're gonna go play, it is cool to take it out and like it's cool for that moment. Like, oh, this is cool, right?
Right.
It feels like a real gun. The weight and everything, it feels sturdy. Um, when you hand it to somebody, hey, check this out. But
Right.
but to actually play with one of these guns, like especially at a milsim, I told them in the beginning, I was like, I would take this cheap ass fucking AK that we
I'll
got
take
that's
my
shooting
plastic
fucking.
G&G that weighs like 5 pounds
I'm
over your 10
saying,
pound
dude.
monstrosity. No.
Yes, I'm serious. Oh yeah. So that is cool, man, to have it really light like that. So what's a pro tip for 3D printing that stock right there? Because that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty cool, man. That it fits on there perfect and it looks like
Perfect
it goes
right off
with
the
it.
printer. So like
So what?
I sat down, like I didn't even have really use my calipers that much. Like I literally sat there and did most of my measurements and stuff with my machinist rule, or my rule, like
Really?
my long ass ruler.
Uh huh.
So most of the stuff was done with that, and then I checked a couple things like the size of the pins and stuff with my calipers. But other than that, uh, yeah,
So calipers. You need so having calipers is a good tool to do for if you're going to print some of this stuff to go on your gun.
yeah. If you definitely want like accuracy, like if you're going for like nice fitment, you want everything to be rock
Hmm.
solid because the more stuff moves, the more easy it is to break, especially with
Right.
like 3D printed stuff.
Yep.
The more beating it takes, the more likely like the layers are going to separate and you're just going to end up with something broken,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So the more rigid and like perfectly fit you can make things, the better it is for it.
Yeah.
So like this, there is no wobble. There's
That
nothing.
is.
This does
I'm
not
saying it when you showed it. I'm
move.
like, there's no way that's 3D printed. It fits too good.
Yeah, even my top rail on here for my
Yeah.
EOTech, that's 3D printed too.
Okay.
So it had one of the. They do have like metal ones you can mount up here, but some I bought this gun off of a friend, and he bought it off of somebody else because these things are like never in stock, and when they do, they're gone like that.
Gotcha.
But whoever it was drilled the holes crooked as hell in here, so this rail was like unusable.
Oh God.
So I designed one with like slots in it, so I can adjust it, so I can
Ah.
line it up properly, so
Yep.
I can actually get it straight on there.
Oh, good idea.
So
Yeah.
that
It's
definitely helps a lot.
yeah. When you work in a place or when you have experience with machining, like any kind of fabrication or machining work, really helps with designing. Little things like this, like
Oh
even just the
yeah.
little tiny things, like you said. Making those little slots. Normal. I guess people that have never done something like that or been around something like that, they wouldn't really think of that. Like
Right, right.
it really brings a lot more information to your designing ideas. Like, what can I do here to make this work?
Right. And like what are things I need to be it helps with like being mindful
Mm,
of like what can go wrong, what's a shortcoming of this design, what can I improve, what's something I can do in this design to work with what I'm working with.
yeah.
Like with the if I could machine like half the stuff I make, there's a lot of things I wouldn't have to worry about that much because obviously metal like extrusions are going to be more consistent, more easily done. These I have to worry about the part orientation for how the layers are laying down,
Mm,
my printing temperatures. Do I have everything dialed in? Am I printing it mostly solid? How much can I get away with before I'm not printing it with enough perimeters or walls and stuff before I start like sacrificing durability for less material, stuff like that. So there's
right.
like that's just stuff that comes with time and like a lot of it just comes with like learning and being in it. Like I've been doing this for 5 years now, 3D
Okay.
printing stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty strong grasp of like how I want to do things to get it to print like the best way I possibly can to get it to do exactly what I want it to do.
Now that stock, is it mostly solid or
It is mostly solid because I didn't want
really?
to like just like drop this and then just stock's gone. Bye.
Exactly.
Like I didn't want that to happen to it. So
Right.
it is pretty much a solid piece of plastic on here pretty much now.
So is there when you're 3D printing something that big and full, like takes that much material, where it's filling in the whole thing, whatever, is there is there more of a chance of it messing up when it's printing if you're printing the full thing
Yeah.
as a or solid, I guess, as opposed to whatever they normally do, like a grid or something?
Right. So usually like the longer a print takes, obviously there's more opportunities for
Oh,
failure.
right.
So, and that's true across the board, whether you have a print that uses a ton of like support material to like hold up certain features that are like overhangs, especially if you're doing like organic models, like character models or something like that,
Mm,
where somebody could have their hand out like this, and then you have a row of support material going all the way up their arm. Like, it really just depends like heavily on how well you have your settings dialed in, how well you have it dialed in specifically for the material you're using,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So mostly your settings and whatnot, and also keeping up on like general maintenance and care of your printers is like a big deal if you
What's the
want
biggest
good, consistent
malfunction?
results. Uh,
The tip, like the heat of the tip or something, or it builds
so
up, or gets.
retractions catch people really bad.
What's that?
So retractions is as it's like finishes a layer and then like goes to do the next layer, or you're printing like multiple pieces where it has to travel to different areas, it'll
Mm,
retract material out of the nozzle so it doesn't ooze over things and then
gotcha.
push it back forward again to start printing again.
Uh huh.
So sometimes if you don't have those dialed in really well, you can lead to under extrusion. If you're like retracting too far, you can lead to jams and clogs. Like there's
Mm,
all kinds of like little things. So having like knowing your printer and like listening to people who have like a lot of experience with it is like really, really good to do. And there's tons of information for new people getting into it to like not have that many problems compared to like back in the day where people were like literally building these like out of whatever the hell they could get a hold of to make a 3D printer to get them to work back in the day.
yeah. So what is? I'm curious why would retraction even be a setting that you could mess with? Like it seems like that would be a standard built-in kind of feature that hey, whenever this thing raises up, it should pull back X amount of whatever
So it's
thousands.
adjustable because of the materials. So like
Oh,
you
okay.
could be using the same
Consistencies.
kind of, yeah, so you could be like using the same kind of material but then switch to a different brand, and you would have to
Oh,
fix your retraction settings because even though it's like this brand is PLA, this brand is PLA, but for
yep.
whatever reason this one just oozes more or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and you'll get a lot of nasty stringing that can sometimes actually just make a solid wall connecting your support material or
Uh-huh.
whatever else to each other.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they
Okay.
it's there so you can tweak it depending on your material, so you can actually get it to like
That
do
makes
what you
sense.
want it to do.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Huh.
So
Okay.
it's a lot of fun technical things that like for the most part, like there's like Cura has a lot of pre-made profiles for the vast majority of readily available printers you can just buy like off of Amazon. And for the most part they work. They work really well for most general materials, but it's there in case you have to do like tweak something in to get it to print the way you want it to. A lot of people don't go that far, but it's there. There's lots of things you can play
Yeah.
with.
Okay. So that stock, how long does something like that take when it's like mostly solid like that?
I got my printers tuned in pretty good, so I can print fast and still print strong.
Mm,
I upgrade like my cooling fans, all that kind of stuff. So like that's another thing. Like depending on your upgrades or what tweaks you've done to your printers and all that kind of stuff, even like the type of nozzle you buy or what brand nozzle you buy can affect different things.
yeah. I'm sure the nozzle's pretty important.
Yeah. So
Mm,
like even like depending on the brand, just like the length of the nozzle can change, or the style of the tip can change, or the internal geometry leading to where it comes out can change, all that kind of
right.
stuff. So uh, it can really vary. Like something like this stock that could take like a day and a half printed solid for somebody,
Right.
depending on how their printer's tuned in. This took me, I want to say 10 and a half hours,
Jesus.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty fast.
I went through three iterations of it
Oh my God.
before I got it dialed in the way I wanted. It was mostly like it was really really slim at first, and like I made this
Oh.
area like too skinny, so it was like a
Uh-huh.
karate chop into your shoulder if you try to shoulder it really fast.
You're like,
So it,
you got it slung and you bring it up, you're like, oh shit.
yeah, yeah, you'd be checking your joint more than actually shouldering the gun. You'd be like, ah. So like the
That's
revisions were
funny.
mostly like I needed more internal room to fit my SCU more comfortably, not feeling like I'm gonna rip or like crush it or anything like that, and
Right.
also have room for like a battery or something.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of it was tweaking the internal geometry so I could fit stuff in here easier, and then beefing this up and whatnot to just make it more comfortable.
Uh-huh.
So it ended up coming out really good. It's got a good
Yeah.
width,
Looks awesome.
and it even has the ribbing on there for some texture
Yep.
so it doesn't slip or nothing on you.
Yeah, dude. And now your drum mag, with the skull on it, that looks That looks badass.
I don't know where they got this. This was on here when I got
Was
it.
it?
Like it's not standard. Like I don't know who
Yeah.
sells this or where you can get it from. I've had people be like, "Where the hell did you get the skull on your stoner? Mine doesn't have that." I
Right.
was like,
Oh no.
it was there when I got it. I got nothing beyond that.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
We'll move on to another special guy.
Yeah. What else you got?
So this is a not a very commonly seen gun.
Yeah. What is that, bro?
This is a G3.
Holy shit.
So that's a big old long boy.
Yeah, it is.
So this LCT makes them. This one is not LCT. This is actually a very, very old classic army bodied G3 from like
Wow.
way back in the day when they had Schwaben Arms logos on there.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
Like this thing is technically like in the classic status in terms of the body and whatnot.
Right.
I had one of these a long time ago with like the almost like the MP5 style J stock, the full retracting one.
Uh-huh.
And that and several other replicas got stolen when my house got broken into
Oh my
when I was
God.
younger.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, they didn't make them anymore. Nobody sold them. The only one you could get was like the JG with like the cheap plastic body and everything like that. And it wasn't the same. So I never bought another one. But then, so that stoner, my wife actually bought me as a surprise. My wife like enables my addiction, which is really bad. But
Hey, that's a good lady right there. I tell you.
she is. We love each other way too damn much, and I think she loves me more than she should. But she bought me that stoner, which was not cheap in the first place. Like that, the
I'm
original
sure.
gearbox and everything in there was completely upgraded and built. It had like a gate, Aster, MOSFET unit, all that whole 9 yards was done to that gun.
Damn.
And she bought me that, and then my buddy said he was getting rid of an old G3. He's like, it doesn't work or anything. I just don't have anything to do with it. I'm looking to get rid of it. Got rid of it for like $120.
Oh
So
shit.
as we're leaving my buddy's place that we just picked that up from, she turns around and be like, oh crap, I gotta go to Walmart. So in the time frame, like as soon as she found out that I was like, ooh, I really want this, she got back to him while I went back to sleep in the car because we were driving all the way back to the Dayton area from up here. I was
Yeah.
working night shift, so I was tired as hell. So I
Right.
went back to sleep. The next thing I know, we're pulling up behind Walmart where he had just gone to go take his truck in. His wife brought the G3 out to him and put it in his truck. And then we met at the parking lot and she brought this out for me.
Oh
So
my
in the same
God.
day, she got me 2 guns.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was wild. She completely blew my mind. I was like, stop, you're too good.
Oh, stop.
Stop it, you spoiled me.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, but since then, I never leave anything alone, no matter how good it is. So I ended up gutting this whole thing. I got a Polar Star Kythera in here now, so it's got
Okay.
like the ripcord and everything to cock it.
The reset, yeah.
Yeah, and so the whole handguard, this whole M-LOK handguard, that's my design in 3D print.
Awesome.
So that whole thing I did, even has the M-LOK logo on it, says Raptor Customs, says Airsoft Use Only around it. Rock solid, does not move at
dude.
all. Vertical
That's
grips
crazy.
3D printed. My rail sections for my bipod are 3D printed.
Holy shit.
And then there's some ghetto work in here with the 3D printed backplate because this LCT stock adapter was not meant to work with the Classic Army back for this metal
Right.
section.
Uh-huh.
So there is some ghetto-ness going on inside of here to get this to work.
MacGyver stuff, okay.
Yeah. So it's a mix of a 3D printed bracket in there
Oh shit. Okay.
and a bunch of JB weld.
Oh my God, yes.
To get it to work.
JB Weld for the win, man. We used to use that shit all the time when I was growing up.
It's
You know,
so
working
good.
on cars and stuff.
Yeah. I love this stuff. It's if you don't use it, you're not using it enough, or you need more reasons to use it. Like that's how I feel on how good that stuff is.
Well, you know, the cars we worked on when I was growing up was, you know, they were all metal. You know,
Mhm.
bumpers were steel. Okay. Yeah, there was no plastic. You know, on the outside of the car.
Right. They're fucking
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah, no shit. You
It's
know,
like my
6
my
miles a gallon.
exactly. My buddy had I want to say it was like an '86 Cadillac.
Nice.
Like he got from a, it was a, he got off a retired veteran who sold it to him for like $4,000.
Oh
And
shit, nice.
it was candy apple red. All the
Okay.
interior was red leather, red accents, whole 9 yards. The whole damn thing was red.
Damn.
But that thing was a big steel boat of a car.
Uh-huh.
And there's one time he was pulling out from his grandmother's house, and like he had looked both ways, and this lady was flying down like at 45 miles per hour down like a 25-mile-per-hour street,
Yeah.
flew down it. As he's pulling out the front of his car, she clips him. It looks like somebody kicked it. Little dent over the
Oh
wheel up.
shit.
Her tire was gone. The front of
Oh
her
my
car was crashed in
god.
on one side, just
Uh-huh.
completely and utterly destroyed. And his looked like somebody just booted it.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
crazy, man.
he's like I didn't even know how bad it was because like all of a sudden I was like looking through my mirrors and all of a sudden my car scooted over to the right a little bit. Like he's like that's all it was for him.
He's
And then
like,
he sees a
oh,
lady like doof, and the whole front of her car is fucking gone.
oh my god, that's nuts. Yeah, when I was learning how to drive, I was my dad started teaching me how to drive when I was 12. So I was like 13 when I was able to when he let me go on the highway for the first time. And I'm on well, you probably know Route 8,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I
So
work I work up that way.
right. So I was on Route 8 and I'm heading towards Akron or whatever. So there's a truck in front of me that has like a bunch of toys or it's like kids toys or something, like a bunch of small shit. This is well, we were driving a 69 Bonneville. This
Yeah.
motherfucker was the goddamn, 30 feet long and, steel and it's like,
Big
just
high
rode
rise
like
jack and
this.
everything with the scoops in there.
Yeah.
Big
The
sharp
hood.
angles, the death
I
box.
mean, bro, it was, the hood is fucking huge as hell. Like, you open up the hood and there's tons of room around the engine. And this is a 400, four barrel, okay? Like giant fucking engine.
God.
So anyway, the bunch of shit falls out of this truck on the freeway, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. I don't know, it's the first time I'm on the freeway, so I slam on the brakes. My dad flips out. Well, somebody rear-ended us. Well,
Oh
they got
shit.
an old car too, so steel bumpers. So we get out, and he probably, he hit his brakes. He probably hit me at no 30 something miles an hour or whatever. But I mean, it was a pretty big jolt. But we get out and we're looking. There's barely a scratch on the fucking bumpers.
Right. The
Okay.
chrome is the quarter inch of chrome on the outside has barely been
Yes.
touched. Because it's all
Right.
hard as shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. It was but that was my first and of course, this is let's see 83, 1983. So I'm like, there's no cops, nobody calls anybody. We don't have to do shit. The guy's like, "Yeah, I'm good." Like, yeah,
Right.
my dad's like, "Yeah, we're good." Whatever. Different times,
Shit.
different time, different
Right.
cars. Uh-huh.
Right. Things weren't meant to crumple like they are
Yeah.
now.
No
They're
shit,
light
right?
and fuel efficient, and they're just literally designed to cave in on themselves on impact. That's how they get those safety ratings.
Well, that's true. It takes the impact instead of the person. So,
Right. Instead of transferring it.
well, I'm glad we
Like,
didn't get her harder because, we didn't have shoulder belts, the seat belts. We just
oh, was
had
it
the
just a
lap
lap?
belts, which
Oh,
we never wore. Nobody wore fucking seat belts when I was a
seatbelts back
kid.
then,
Like,
yeah.
bro, what? Parents are riding with kids in the front seat, like, just climbing all over the fucking place.
Right. Don't do that now.
No, no.
Get end up now everybody gets hit so hard you get a kid yeeted out the windshield.
Oh God, I mean, dude, yeah, that's yeah, car wrecks are violent, man.
Oh yeah. So I'm originally from Texas. I was born down in Texas and
Oh,
everything.
okay.
Only I barely lived there. I can't even know. I don't even know if I can really say it was living because I wasn't even one yet by the time my mom
Oh, yeah,
moved.
you don't really remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. But we went down there to visit my mom's sister and everything one year, and we had gone to like a county fair or something.
Yeah.
And as we were leaving, it was raining, and this drunk lunatic was just barreling down the highway and running everybody off the road.
Holy
He, ri-
shit.
yeah, he ended up running us off the road. My grandma was driving, and she did everything she could to like not have the car flip into the ditch. So we managed to stay upright. The whole car did go sideways when we went over the edge a little bit, but she managed to keep it up.
Right.
And me and my brother in the back seat. He's in a car seat, and I'm in my little like those little like half car seats or whatever, not like the
Uh-huh.
full cradle ones.
Right.
But we're sitting back there, and I remember we're just getting thrown around while all this is going on because like my grandma's like trying to get the car going. My mom's fright because she's all tensed up, and then they just turn back and look at us. They're like, "You good?" And we're like, because we can't see past the window, so we had no idea what the hell was going on. All I know is like my brother's car seat came over, and it, like the edge where it like folds over, where you get your hand behind it,
Yeah.
had hit me in the forehead and like gave me like a big, wasn't like a cut, but it was like a big abrasion where it just took off my top layers of skin. And
Yeah.
it left me this big, rough, red, bleeding spot on my forehead that I had for like the rest of the time we were down there.
Oh shit.
And then we hit a deer on the way home coming back.
Damn. What?
Yeah, that's what I've had a lot of like weird, random shit happen, like going on like long trips. Like I used to go on church camp trips or whatever to like Wisconsin to Green Lake.
Oh, nice.
I got attacked by coyotes. That was fun. Rabies shots.
What?
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. I had to get rabies shots. Broke my hand in the
Jesus.
same night too. It was a good time. Good time.
Oh my god, bro. Remind me to never play airsoft with you.
Right, just don't travel with me. You could be
Yeah.
you could be doing everything else. Just don't be with me. But
That's
that
funny.
was
I
that.
fed a speaking of coyotes, hand fed a coyote, a wild coyote at Yosemite National Park in 1991 with when me and my buddies went up there. I was stationed at Pendleton. We went up there to, spend the weekend, 4-day weekend. And I got this coyote eat a piece of bologna out of my hand. And this thing was like fucking tall, man. It was, pretty big. It wasn't one of the little ones.
Right.
The legs were really long. I don't know if it was part wolf or not, but it looked a little bigger than the regular coyotes.
Right.
But
Then like there's like
yeah,
Ohio coyotes, and then there's like coyotes as you go like further away from Ohio. Like the Ohio coyotes, they're like a little bigger than like a medium-sized dog, and then there's the other
hmm
ones that are like, oh, you're a threat.
no shit, right?
Right. So that's what I dealt with, was the threat kind, and there were four of them.
It fucked your hand up.
No, the
Oh,
hand was actually separately related.
okay.
It's a wild story. So if we could go into it if you want, I don't care.
What you talking about when you broke your hand the same night?
Yeah. The whole shebang.
So wait a minute. So you get bit by a coyote.
I actually hit the coyote and caught a tooth in my wrist.
You hit the coyote.
Yeah, I caught one tooth in the back of my wrist.
How old were you? A
17.
teenager? Okay. So you backhanded this coyote because he was yelping or something.
So
He was pissing you off. You're like, shut up, bitch.
he was actually the one who was potentially trying to get me down, I'm pretty sure. So at this church camp, they got like a dorm area where they host it and everything, and then they have like a center building. But then like further down the road, there's like a rec field with like soccer fields, and there's surrounded by woods and all that kind of stuff. And you
Yeah.
see wild turkeys and deer and all that kind of stuff out there all the time and everything. So when we were there was a ton of wild turkeys out there all the time,
Holy shit. Okay.
and they were there all throughout the week and everything. So, and this all happened, of course, the very last night we're supposed to leave from Wisconsin to come back to Ohio.
Right.
So, it was the very last night. I was hanging back to help pick out the music for like the next morning and everything before we all leave and everything. And they let everybody like stay up late. They did like screw the curfew. Everybody can go out. So I was told everybody had gone to the rec field to go like hang out and stargaze and all that. So when I went out that way, I ended up going out to the field, and there was nobody out there. And it's just a big, wide open field and surrounded by the woods. And then the road is pretty far back with like a stone wall separating the road from the field where it dips down.
Yeah.
And all I had was like one of those like little like button stick lights or whatever that look like a glow stick light, but all I have is a little button on it. I didn't have a pocket knife, didn't have nothing on me. I get out there, I start calling for people, and I think I caught them in the middle of hunting. And I think that's why they were like so willing to come at me, because it was
Oh,
just me.
shit.
So the next thing I know, I hear shuffling and yipping, like coming through the grass and everything.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I have 3 snouts in front of me.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like just ran up on me.
That's fucking
So
nuts.
yeah, yeah. That's why they end up giving me the rabies shots, because they're like, if they were that willing to come at you, there's a strong chance they have rabies. So that was a fun
Yeah.
ordeal in and of itself, because I'm terrified of needles. So that
Oh
was
my
not fun
God.
either.
Jesus.
So there was 3 snouts in front of me, and everything in my mind just went to every like nature thing I watched from Animal Planet and what to deal with animals, like make yourself big, be like aggressive back, all that kind of stuff. And I can do like a really, really like aggressive snarl. I would help out at like Halloween trails and stuff. So I
Right.
was really, really good at making like really, really angry, aggressive sounds. So it turned into me like making myself as like big and aggressive as possible,
Yeah.
stomping my feet at him, growling back and snarling back at him, and slowly like egressing back towards the road.
Uh-huh.
But as I'm doing this, like I'm shaking now, like thinking about it, because it's
I'm
still
sure.
I remember everything.
Yeah.
And all I have is this little stick light hanging off of like a string on my neck. So I'm trying to keep like not too far away. I can't see them anymore, while also like keeping enough distance. They can't make like a quick move on me.
Right.
And out of the corner of my eye, there's a 4th one skirting me, who's coming up from my side. And that's the one I hit, because when I saw it over there, I just reacted. I just brought my hand up, hit it with the back of my fist,
Right.
made it back off, and then it kind of like circled back in front and joined the other 3. And didn't know it at the time. I had a hole in my wrist right behind where my watch sits, and there was blood just running down my hand. But it turned into like a back and forth stomp and snarl like battle between me and them, until I got closer to the road. When the lights from the road got like, I don't know, probably like 50-ish feet like out into the field, they started backing off a bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't turn around until I felt that stone wall that separated the road from the field hit my back. So I was like, I'm not turning my back to them, because as soon as I do that, that's like full
Yeah.
vulnerability. So until I felt my back hit the wall, I like assessed that they weren't like right there, like lingering kind of in the dark. I hopped the wall, and then going back down the road towards the dorms, completely black. There's no lights going down that way.
Holy shit.
So I just continued down the road, and I get down to the end of the road. I can't find anybody. There's some like maintenance buildings over there, but of course there's nobody out there or nothing. And
Right.
I get to the end of the road, and it goes down the hill towards the lake, and then I just see phone lights all scattered about all over the field. So they were all down there. So I go down there. Nobody can see. I don't even really know that I'm bleeding yet. Like I haven't fully assessed it or anything, because I'm so shooken up.
Right.
And I get completely blown off. Nobody believes me. Nobody knows what's going on.
What?
I get completely and utterly blown off. Nobody gave a shit.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't like they didn't hear, like you could hear the coyotes from like up the hill. People mentioned it,
Yeah.
but did not believe me that I was involved with what was going on. So I got completely blown off. My shaken upness just transfers into like almost like pure rage. So I just go and like sit on a bench, just shaking and like holding my fists until everybody was done and we start going back up the hill. Cause I was like, I'm not going back by myself regardless.
Right.
So went back with the whole group, went back to the dorm room, because I realized I did have blood running down my hand by that point, and went to go clean off. In that dorm room, the door, you had to slam it like all week. The door was screwed up.
Yeah.
And my choir director of all people, I don't know what was wrong with his mood, but he decided to come after me
Oh shit.
for slamming the door. Because I mean, I'll probably obviously putting off that energy that like I am like fuming right now.
Uh-huh.
So as soon as I
Oh,
closed
you're in
that door,
fight mode, dude. Fuck yeah.
yeah,
Like you're ready to kill these motherfuckers, the
yeah.
coyotes. Yeah.
So I get in the room, close the door, and he just goes off. Like my choir director of my church just loses it.
About slamming the door.
Yeah. Like tells me I'm sick of your shitty attitude you've had all week and blah 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 blah. Just go. And it's not like I had anything going on other than like I had a friend who like died of a heart attack in the back of the shop I play at all times. It wasn't like I didn't have that going on either.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a long string of events that whole year. And my dad had died the year before. So
Oh my
I had
God.
occasions where I was not in a great mood.
Yeah, and it's 17.
Yeah. So
What?
yeah, so he goes off on me and he storms out of the room after yelling at me. And I just sit on my bunk and I just break down for a bit. But then it was
Sure.
like I went from crying to ready to tear the like door off the wall.
Right.
Like it was like everything was just like high and low, just back and forth, back and forth.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up going outside. I go back out back between the main building and where the dorm I am. They have the guys' dorm and the girls' dorm on the other side. So I'm
Yeah.
back between there, and I'm like pacing back and forth. I'm just trying to fucking like bring shit together until I can like get my mom or like my youth pastor and everything. And as I'm doing that, he comes out the fucking front of the building and starts going across the parking lot, sees me and says more shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So there's a wood stage back there between like a wood platform stage thingy or whatever back there.
Yeah.
So this is where I break my hand. Uh, so he yells something and I yell something back, and boom, I punch the stage. And like I tore my knuckles open, like put dents in the stage. I hit it so hard, like I had a knuckle imprint.
Yeah.
And he yelled something back. I called him like an angry old bastard or something like that. And it's like one of those moments too where like you're like, don't do it, like where you're telling yourself like as you're in like mid motion, like I
Yeah.
was literally telling myself, I was like, you're gonna break your hand,
Yeah.
you're doing it, you're going, boom. And as soon as I hit, like he said something else, I didn't even hear it because like immediately after I hit, I was like, yeah, I did it, I broke it, I gave myself a boxer's fracture right across here and almost cracked this bone in half. I hit it so hard.
Right.
And yeah, then I eventually like counselor found me, was like, what's going on, blah blah blah. And then I found my youth pastor, and then we got to my mom, and then I spent like 4.5, 5 hours in the emergency room that night.
Right.
Good times, good times.
Holy shit. That's wild, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking the
So it wasn't even like
Coyote
I
King
broke
over
my
here.
hand to the coyotes. Like I broke
You're,
my hand to not like hurt somebody else.
I mean, hey, you dealt with it.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm
Yeah, you were
here.
smart
I'm
though. You
here.
were smart in that situation. For real, man. Like, the instinct and what you had learned. You didn't panic, right?
No,
Because
did
they
not.
would, yeah. You panic and run. They're gonna try. They're gonna,
They're going to get the
jump
back
on
of
your
my
ass.
ankle or the back of
Right.
my leg, and they're just going
Yep.
to trip me and then jump on my back. And then
Yep.
it's done from there when they rip out the back of my neck.
Yes. Yeah. No shit, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you, bro. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
That's your warrior moment, bro. That's your fucking coming of age story right there.
that's one of them. Yeah.
Like the back in the day with the Indians and stuff, they used to do the the trial by fire kind of thing with the the youths, like 10, 12 years old.
Yeah, send them out on like their lone hunting trips or
Oh
whatever, just out in
yeah,
the
for
wilderness.
real. Uh huh. The rite of passage.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Fuck yeah. Cheers to that.
I could have done without it, but I made it through and it's a good story.
Oh hell yeah. I mean, sometimes you can't help, and what situation you're put in, and that obviously that's one of them. So
Right. No, just shit
it's
happens.
crazy, bro.
And you just got you either deal with it in the moment or you fall in the moment.
Yeah,
Or you fall later if you
absolutely.
don't deal with it later. But
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but
man,
yeah,
that's cool.
that was a fun trip. I basically slept the whole 9 hours back from Wisconsin all the way back to
Oh,
Dayton.
I'm sure. Like fucking total emotional and physical exhaustion.
Yeah, just done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when you have that adrenaline rush for that fight or flight thing, man, it's when you have that adrenaline dump or whatever and then it wears off. Talk
Oh yeah.
about you could sleep anywhere. You could sleep on a bed of nails, dude. Like just out.
Yeah, there's a picture of me in the van on the way back with like with my hand all wrapped up and everything because for
Yeah.
whatever reason this urgent care wouldn't do a cast, so they put me in like a restrictive splint until I could
Huh.
get back to see my doctor all the way in Ohio to actually put a cast on. So they basically just immobilized my hand. So there's a
Okay.
picture of me like slumped over a pillow in my lap in the van on the way back with my hand wrapped up and everything just gone.
Oh my god. Yeah. No shit. That's wild, man. Yeah.
It's a stressful story.
Hey, I mean, I mean, you're not that old, so it wasn't that long ago. Um,
No, like really, it's like it's weird to think it was 12 years ago, but still, that's still technically not that far back.
no, I mean, dude, I'm fucking shit from 30 years ago. It still, brings back
Right,
emotion.
right. Still
You
fairly
know,
strong in here.
for real. Yeah. Oh, that's wild. Okay.
Okay.
So, what did it? So after that event, were you into like sports or anything when you were that age, like in
Yeah,
high school?
I played football.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I was a little brick shit house.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
like when I played pee wee football, I wasn't allowed to run the ball because I weighed so much. And it wasn't
Oh,
like it was because I was like fat or big. It
yeah.
was because I was literally just like I was diesel.
No
I was
shit.
small and just diesel as hell.
Yeah.
So I would just blitz through people. Like and I was on the field the entire game. I was on offense and defense. I was on
Yeah.
special teams. So I never left the field. So
Mm-hmm.
I also had that like insane endurance where I was just out there the entire time, never came off.
Right.
And I had the most sacks in my league. I had I think the second highest
Sacks.
tackling record,
Yeah.
and I also had returned the ball like off of fumbles for touchdowns a few times.
Oh shit. Now, were you what position on defense?
I was either defensive end or which was my favorite position, or I was
Gotcha.
strong side linebacker.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I played. Middle linebacker. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, buddy. Okay. Well, I played. Yeah, I played. We did both. Schools didn't have like. Most people played both sides.
Right. Because you didn't have
Because
enough kids to play to have a full
right.
team for everything.
Exactly. Yeah, I was the punter, a middle linebacker, and a tight end for offense. And I was a horrible tight end. I was a good blocking tight end because I
Yeah.
like to hit,
I
but
sucked it up in
stone
both.
hands,
Yeah.
stone hands, couldn't catch shit, bro.
No, I was the same way. I could run the ball, but I could not catch for shit. I had
Hmm.
bricks. I could do the whole diamond and everything and
Yeah.
still
Oh,
gone.
uh, just bounce off. The shit would bounce off. I remember the most depressing moment in football because I love defense. That was my
Oh yeah.
favorite thing.
I just like hitting people. That's what
I
that was my
love
favorite
to
part
hit,
about
bro. Like,
it.
can you just hurry up and snap the ball so I can hit somebody?
Right, just
And
the whole time.
yeah, yeah, it was. They threw the ball to me. We were like on the 7 yard line. We were really close in the end zone, and this was like our last play of the game, and this would have made us win, right?
Yeah.
No, of course I fucking it bounces off my hands. Actually, it hits me, and my hands were really close to my helmet when I turned, and
Uh-huh.
the point of it bounces off my helmet, and I couldn't hang on to
Took
it.
it
It's
away
just,
from yourself.
it's
Yeah.
gone, it's gone. I said, "What the fuck, man? I
Nah,
told you to leave
that
me on
beats my luck
defense."
too.
Oh yeah,
Right. And it was like when I got into like high school and middle school and everything, they would like randomly in the middle of a game be like, "Here, can you run the ball?" I was like, "You guys haven't practiced with me running the ball, but I'll
yeah.
give it a shot." So the few times that I did, I would never hit the hole right. They would actually leave me like a big ass opening, but because I was already going to the wrong place, so I ended up blowing in through and making my own hole. I got like 6 yards on average per carry,
Damn.
and it got to the point where I was busting our dudes up a little bit too because I was hitting the wrong holes because I was just blowing through
You just hit him
everybody
in
in
the
my
back.
path. Right, so I just went through everybody like caught off guard.
Oh shit.
So that didn't last very long. But I remember there was one play I did where I became such a problem during that game because I was like first down, first down, first down. I was just trekking us down the field,
Yeah.
and my team, I don't know if they were just sick of me too, but I ended up having almost the entire defensive like side on me,
Oh shit.
but I never went down. Like I
They didn't
stayed up
block.
the
They
whole
didn't
time.
block for you. Yeah. They're like,
No,
fuck this dude. Let him get hit.
right. So the whole like entire defensive other team came through, all 11 dudes. I never went down, but I backpedaled enough that the refs were like,
They blew
whistle,
the
it's
whistle.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. but I
Holy
never got
shit.
taken down from that.
That's crazy.
I've always said I'm really really hard to knock over.
Yeah. Like a weeble wobble.
Yeah, I got a low center of gravity for whatever reason. I'm really hard to get down.
Hell yeah, dude. So what do you got? So what do you got coming up for airsoft events?
Trying to figure out if we're gonna make it down to Stonebreaker. That's the next one we're talking
Okay.
about.
Yeah.
I'm coming down for Stonebreaker again. I am trying to look at more like events, kind of like closer to Ohio.
Right.
So I know Indiana's kind of surprisingly Indiana's kind of kicked up. They actually have quite a few fields open up there now, and have a few events going on over there.
Yeah.
And then there's also like the asylum and the prison stuff over in Pennsylvania that I might want to go try
I
and
was gonna
check
say
out.
there's a handful in Pennsylvania that
Yeah,
is a lot closer drive for you.
yeah. So we're trying. I want to organize some more of that because I want to do more big events leading into 2023. So I
Okay.
want to go do bigger stuff. I can play at my local field all the time as much as I want, but I want to do big things.
Right.
I got adult money now. I want to go do the big adult things now.
You got all some. You got all these good guns, man. You got to take them out and use them. Like
Right.
really good events. Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, that's why like the vast majority of them are HPA now, is
Yeah.
because it's just so easy for me to tone it back. Like I'll take that SR-25 and play indoors with it with no sights.
Oh shit.
I've done. There's pictures of me doing it on my Instagram where they
Yeah.
like I got an overhead shot from the top of the bus. Yeah, that's vehicles in there too. From the top of the bus that's in there of me peeking around the corner with the SR-25 shooting.
Holy shit. Okay. Hell yeah.
So that's why almost everything I have is HPA or CQB related. I'll do my AK before I bring over the sniper rifle.
Oh yeah. Well,
So
that looks
that
like you got some printed stuff on there because it looks really clean.
Yeah, so this whole upper section, the rail, that's all 3D printed, and the top dust cover is 3D printed as well.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So still fully functional and everything. Locks in,
Nice.
sits, does not move. The only
Right.
thing that wobbles on here is the damn sling catch, but other than that, everything is rock solid.
That's awesome, dude.
But this is the gun that Caleb Tucker you were talking about. He started talking to me because I posted this,
Oh, okay.
so he was really interested in this AK.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so
It
that's
looks
that
awesome.
bad boy. I actually really like this gun. It's my sleeper AK. So
Okay.
everything in here is pretty much redone as well, besides like the trigger and the like electrical.
Yeah.
But the motor, all the cylinder components, the hop up unit, all that stuff in here has been upgraded and redone. So this thing shoots really, really, really good, and it's an old school Echo One, which you can't even hardly find Echo One stuff anymore. And
Yeah.
this thing is just light. It's light. The whole thing's fucking plastic.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
light. It's light as can be. So, but I've had it for a while now. I bought it off a buddy who sold it to me for like $60 because he was just getting out, and he said it just been sitting around in a box forever, and
Right.
I just had my way with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Also got here's another gun my wife bought me.
Oh shit.
It's not done up. I moved around some accessories,
Yeah.
but this is an old school like Knights Armament PDW.
Oh, that's wild looking, bro. Look at
Like
that outer barrel. It's all dimpled or something.
yeah.
That's cool.
So these were really really popular a long time ago, and
Okay.
uh, E-Bike, they have a new version now where I think it has a key mod on it or something like that instead of having the Picatinny sections.
Yeah.
Uh, but these are really, really big. This is like one of my favorite guns ever. It was in a few older video games, like I think it was Ghost Recon Wildlands. Actually
Oh
had this
yeah.
in there.
Nice.
It was in I don't think it was Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I think it was a different one, but it was one of the Ghost Recon games also had this in it, and that's when
Okay.
I fell in love with it. And I think we were like a couple years into dating, and she bought me this.
Nice.
But for the longest time, it sat unused because no matter what compression components I put in here, no matter what hop up, anything, it just shot for shit. Had
Huh.
no power coming out of it for completely like unknown reasons. So eventually,
What?
so I kept it because I was like, it's sentimental. I still love it. It's still great. I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
Um, but I kept it. HPA came more readily available, and I was like, it's time. So it's
Nice.
HPA now, and this thing is insane. This one actually has a speed trigger, and it barely moves.
Damn.
Like at one point, I had this like so tuned up. Like if you so much as shook this just a little too hard, it would shoot.
It would
Like
shoot.
it would shoot.
I've had people on that, have talked about that before. Yeah.
Yeah, you can literally get to where it's actually like pressed, like already like pre-pressuring the micro switch inside,
Oh, Jesus.
and that's when you can just like shake it or jar it and it will shoot. Like it would be like I'd be
Right.
running and I'd be like pop, pop. I'm not doing it. I swear,
Holy
pop while
shit.
I'm running.
That's funny.
But this thing has always been a great gun, and I ended up at the tool and die shop I worked at on break. I took the whole thing apart and sandblasted it to get
I
it
was.
this gray.
Oh,
So
okay. I was gonna ask you how you got the gray. Okay.
yeah, it used to be all black. So I took it in, sandblasted it. Uh, I want to do a paint job on here eventually.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love Cryptek Diablo, the red and black
Ah.
Cryptek. I
Yeah,
want
dude.
I want that all over this.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
shit.
I
Right.
think that would be slick as hell.
Now, are you good at painting, like custom paint stuff?
I'm good at rattle canning things, but I'm not good at getting like really, really like nice paint jobs.
You should, if you want a nice one on there with that kind of design. Have you ever heard of Rogue Customs?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
He
follow each
paints
other.
the.
We've talked a few
Okay.
times.
Okay. Say he'd probably be able to do a really good job on that.
How to do that? I'd just send it his way.
I mean, honestly, just strip it down and have him do that cryptek whatever. Like that'd be fucking cool shit.
That'd be slick. And it would go with like I even have like Cryptek Diablo like arm sleeves and everything that I
Oh
wear
shit.
when I'm doing
Oh
like
yeah.
indoors. So like
Okay.
I have like my all my milsim setups, and then I have like my indoor speed soft setup that I use.
Right.
So I kind of do like I do like everything.
Yeah.
So I do my speed sim.
Hell yeah.
Man, I got a case down here. This is what I was actually using at Iron Dagger for the most part. Was my VFC MP7 AEG.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So this thing is a nightmare to work on.
Really.
The gearbox, it is littered with wires and little like metal plates and switches all over the outside of the gearbox to give it all of its functions it has.
Damn.
So it has like empty mag detection. You got to like slide down the bolt catch to like release it and stuff.
Right.
Just everything in here is like really, really extra. And
Holy shit.
I actually, this is my second one of these. The first one I had just taken it out of the box. I was super, super excited, and I went out back to go and shoot it on full auto. And all of a sudden, everything was cycling, but there was no BBs coming out.
Uh.
There was like no air pressure like at all. The
Gotcha.
tappet plate had broken inside, which was a
Okay.
very, very common issue when these Gen 1s first came out.
Okay.
And I ended up sending it back. I got a new one. And then I was like, okay, I just won't use full auto. Most of the time, most of the places I play at, you can only use semi-auto anyways.
Right.
But Bull Gear ended up coming out with a CNC tappet plate and everything for it. That was actually like aluminum and not plastic anymore.
Yep.
So that's when I took this, and also I broke off the front end at Stonebreaker.
Oh
I
shit.
jumped to throw a grenade, and I had this in like a holster on my belt, and it fell off and landed on the end, snapped my threads off, snapped off my flash hider.
Oh damn.
So I ended up 3D printing a new one to put on here. But of course, at Iron Dagger 2, I broke that as well. My buddy who was with me, like, he was like pointing out to somebody, and his arm came down. And it was in the dark, and as soon as he hit it, I was like, "It's gone."
Oh shit.
I looked down, and sure enough, I shined my flashlight real quick, and there was my suppressor laying on the ground.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
But those were 3D printed threads, so now I'm gonna end up like tweaking it again, reprinting it, and doing the one where I said like I have the high
Metal.
kappa thread adapters in instead.
Right.
So that whole front assembly in here is all 3D printed.
Oh, that's cool.
But this thing is, now that I have those little like Reliance upgrades, and I got I think I put Prami purple bucking in here.
Mm.
It's fantastic. I was spewing this thing on full auto all the whole event, and it's so light, it's so
Yeah,
small,
dude. It's small. It looks
and
cool as shit.
I have like 7 mags for it. That tells you how much
Jesus.
that tells you how much I love this thing. Now, this guy is one I wish I had more uh like area to really use in, because I absolutely love this sniper rifle, and I used this at Stonebreaker when I broke that MP7. I was running that as a secondary.
Yeah.
So this is the Silverback SRS, modeled after the Desert Tech SRS,
Oh, it looks
and
awesome, dude.
this whole front end is 3D printed.
Yeah.
The muzzle brake's 3D printed, and the grip's 3D printed.
That looks awesome.
So nobody supports these anymore, and nobody really makes like handguards. After they came out with the SRS A2, nobody really supports the A1 anymore. So I've actually sold a few of these handguards
Okay.
because nobody makes shit for them anymore.
Right.
So they're still very popular. The A1s are still really, really good. And for the most part, it was only the externals that changed between the A1 and the A2. All the internals are
Okay.
pretty much exactly the same.
Right.
So, and I actually ended up making like multiple lengths depending on like your outer barrel length. And I made a suppressor
Oh shit.
that actually works on this guy
Right.
that is also cream filled. So this thing is
Oh man,
stupid
that's
quiet.
quiet. Yeah.
Stupid quiet. And this, it's at Stonebreaker. I don't know if you know their joule limits, but sniper rifles can go up to 3.6 joules.
Right.
I get
I
this
knew they were
rocking.
high.
Yeah, I get this rocking right at 3.4, and I rock 4.8s in this, and I am just full on sending these boys far as
shit.
hell.
Yeah. Right.
And I have I have my barrels are wrapped in here. I have the hop up unit all done up. I have a weighted like a weight adjustable piston and everything in here.
Jesus.
Yeah, so this one's a bad boy. It's very bad.
That's awesome.
It's a fantastic gun. I just wish they weren't like, even the A2s. I think even on sale they were like $570 or some shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got this just before the A2 released on sale on Evike for like 300 something bucks when normally they were like 500.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, so I made out like a bandit on that. So I bought this. I bought mags and like extra springs and buckings and everything for it, and still spent just a hair over what it would have been for the gun without the sale and stuff going on.
Oh my god, that's wild, dude. That looks awesome, dude.
Oh yeah, it's a bad boy. I love it. And even with that 3D printed front end, like I use a QD mount, like an M-Lock quick detach mount
Right.
on the front of there to run my I got a backpack sling for it. So I can just throw this on my back and run around with it when I'd be running with the MP7.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Well, it's a lot shorter too than most sniper rifles,
Yeah, and that's a 20-inch
which I
barrel.
like. Right.
It's super super tiny. And then like I have more 3D printed. I got 3D printed stuff everywhere.
Right.
So like I even like designed my own die GoPro mount. That's mounted on
nice.
top of here so that I can actually get like a better point of view compared to the regular ones that just kind of sit on the top.
Uh-huh.
So this is more like in line with my actual eyesight. Most of the other
Right.
ones, they just sit like directly on top like that.
Uh-huh.
This one actually gives you a good POV.
Right. I like those, yeah.
So that one's really nice. And I even, my GoPro mount on my helmet's even 3D printed.
Oh, I'm sure. Like that was one of the first things that my son started doing when he got that was printing, mounts, GoPro mounts.
Yeah, like when I first got my GoPro, like I just printed a bunch of stuff. Like the GoPro that I'm using right now as a webcam is on a 3D printed tripod.
Nice.
And then I designed one that I have a mount here on the top of my monitor, but this gives a better like view, better for like showing and everything. So I put it down here also in case I wanted to like pick it up and show things.
Yeah.
That's my helmet. This thing's all 3D printed. 3D printed like spring attachment so it locks in.
Right. That's cool as shit, bro.
And then did you see the tier 1 at all from Friday night?
No, I mean I was there Friday night, but no, I didn't see the actual, game
So
going on.
they surprised everybody with the helo run. So when we were running the helicopter at night, nobody signed up for that. Nobody paid an extra ticket, surprisingly. They included it in the tier one and flew everybody.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was super surprised by that. And what was fucked up, so I know I didn't buy a helicopter ticket. Like when I asked about my golden ticket, I was like, "Can I squeeze in on the tier one?" They're like, "Yeah, we can put you on the ground, but we can't put you in the helicopter." I was like,
Oh,
"That's totally fine. That's all I probably do anyways."
right.
But then they started like we got into the briefing and they started handing out waivers to everybody for flight crew, and I'm like, "Are they just giving these out to everyone? Like, what's going on?" And then they came in like, "Everybody flying tonight." We're like,
Oh my
"Fuck."
god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we all got to fly in the Little Bird at night.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Was that your first time on it?
yes.
Oh, that's fucking badass.
It was fantastic. At first, I was like scared, and then we got up in the air and we like took off, and I was like,
Right.
hey, I enjoyed this now.
Hell
But I was
yeah.
mad because I was like, we're gonna be in the dark. I'm not gonna really get any good GoPro footage, so I didn't bring my GoPro with me from the hotel to the field.
Right.
So I did not record any of it. I didn't record us blowing up the convoy. I didn't record us on the helicopter. I got none of it, and I'm mad.
Well, I mean, would it show up anyway? Because I mean, the GoPros don't really have a good light sensitive thing or whatever. The
They're
darkness.
not, but it would have been good for like the actions because when like the vehicles blew up, there was like it's
Oh
like
yeah.
long exposure from all the stuff hanging in the air and everything.
Right. They
So
had
there
those
was tons
flares
of
and they
light.
had the red flares as well on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Okay.
would have been really, really good, nice to have on GoPro. And then being in the helicopter, we had the lights and everything, and you could still like see the overhead view of the field and everything where everybody else was
Okay.
when we were
Okay.
flying out to over there. So it would have been
Right.
cool. I wouldn't have gotten everything, but it would have been really, really cool to have those
Yeah,
like
it would have.
small bits at least.
Right.
So I was like, oh well, hopefully there'll be another time. We'll see.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's cool, man.
But
Bro, tons of cool shit you got, man. That's awesome.
this is my amalgamation of things I've just pieced together and collected, and a lot of it I've gotten hella good deals on, and then just gone from there.
Yeah, but I'm well, first off, thank you for getting everything ready and getting it all set up so you could show it off easily.
Oh yeah, I literally like cleaned my whole entire office like yesterday to get
Yeah,
ready for this.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, I really wanted to like I wanted it to be good. I wanted to have like
Yeah.
everything ready to go so you're not waiting on me to go like dig and pull stuff out or all that kind of shit. I was like, let's get it settled, let's get it go. I want it to be as good, stress free as possible.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah,
And then
thank
the
you so
stupid
much, dude.
GoPro kind of fucked
That's
that up a
okay.
little bit, but we got it going.
Yeah, it must have been the battery thing because it hasn't messed up since.
I think it was like the battery wasn't like super low, but fresh
Who
one fixed it,
knows?
so
There
whatever,
you
I
go.
guess.
Well, listen, man. Thank you so much for being on. It was great to talk with you and have you on. And it's I'm blown away by how much cool shit you got. And you are the Coyote King, bro. Okay, like yes, overcame that shit. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Well, tell everybody where they can find you online.
So everybody can find me at Raptor Customs AM or Raptor Customs 3D. I think will also show me up on there. It's a nice Raptor red and black and white logo on there. You can find me on TikTok and YouTube as Raptor with a camera. And yeah, from there, and then I'm hopefully going to be posting more and streaming more. And I want to do more things. I might get a podcast going here in the hopefully near future if I can get that all
Awesome.
situated.
That'd be great. All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. You have a good night.
All right, you too, man.
All right, brother. Later.
Later.